Storytime on why I don't play with who's on the invite list when it comes to planning out of town trips. So the year was 2020. It was November. We were fresh on campus, and I think it was like during COVID, so like we were on lockdown, so classes were online. So I was living with two close friends. We'll call one Pink, and we'll call the other one America. One random night, America, I remember she was at home, so me and Pink were just in the apartment, and like we were just bored. So I think that we decided to just hang out for a little bit, and we decided to plan an out of town trip. We decided to go to Atlanta. So in the midst of us planning, we decided that of course we were going to invite America, but I came up with the idea to invite Pink's external friend, who was her best friend from home, and we'll call her Purple for this story. A little bit of backstory: Purple didn't go to school with us, but like, you know, she did come and hang out with us on like
on a girls trip always end bad, and I will forever go on a solo date trip with my boyfriend every year for my birthday. I felt like I did it all right. I booked the cruise in advance 5 months prior, sorted out the pricing, booked the flights. Friend number one, a month before the trip, starts wigging out. Like, oh, I talked to my mom. I don't know if I should go. I don't know if I should go. So I'm telling my best friend that already told me before, ahead of time, that she couldn't go. I'm telling her the situation, like, the girl don't know if she want to go. I don't want her to ruin the mood, like, da-da-da-da.
So I really contemplated making the story or telling the story or not, but it was such a negative energy that kind of like stuck with me. I was like, you know what? I gotta tell the story. So I had a best friend of mine who was one of my really good friends for 9 years. She ended up moving to Tampa. We're going to call her by her name. Her name's Nicole. Nicole moved to Tampa, and then I stayed at the time was in Texas, right? We would always keep communication, but she ends up getting engaged, and long story short, she invited me to her bachelorette party, which was going to be in Tulum. So initially there were going to be a lot of girls coming on this trip, but a lot of girls.
Story time on the time that my mom took me out of the country for my birthday, and I got separated from her during ziplining, and I probably would not have never seen my family again. So it was my 16th birthday. I was turning 16. My aunt was turning 18. We 2 years apart. That's like my sister. We were raised like sisters. That's my girl. I don't have a bunch of friends, and neither do she. So instead of me having like a sweet 16, my mom just was like, I'm gonna take you out the country for your birthday, like girls trip. So we went to DR, and this was around the time where they was like putting stuff in people's drinks. Like, it was a big thing. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was like a whole big thing on the internet about people getting slip stuff and all of that in DR. So my mom was already like on it.
Girl trips going insanely wrong. And honestly, these stories are almost unbelievable. I'll let you be the judge. Let me know what you think in the comments. But before that, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a ton. Thank you and enjoy.
On a girls trip always end bad, and I will forever go on a solo date trip with my boyfriend every year for my birthday. I felt like I did it all right. I booked the cruise in advance 5 months prior, sorted out the pricing, booked the flights. Friend number one, a month before the trip, starts wigging out. Like, oh, I talked to my mom. I don't know if I should go. I don't know if I should go. So I'm telling my best friend that already told me before, ahead of time, that she couldn't go. I'm telling her the situation, like, the girl don't know if she want to go. I don't want her to ruin the mood, like, da-da-da-da. My best friend invites herself and said, girl, fuck that. I just got into a settlement. I can go in her place anyway. It'll be fun. So I'm so happy, like, oh, my real best friend coming. We're going shopping. We're getting ready for the trip. I'm so excited. So at this point, my friend that was originally supposed to go, she's like, should I go? Should I not go? I convinced her not to go at this point. Because I'm like, if you're confused, I'm just going to convince her not to go, because my other best friend that I'm really close with is going to go, and everything's going to be fine, and everything's going to work out. So my best friend ended up paying the money or whatever, get her spot, secure her spot. And then tell me why the night before the trip, the night before I flight to Miami, because you got to fly to the port, my best friend said she talked to her man and she feel like she shouldn't go on the cruise. So I'm like doing whatever to convince my friend, like, hey, like, why would you not go? Like, why would you not go? Like, the night before. Anyways, I couldn't convince her to go. So now I'm finding a alternate to replace the alternate. So she's trying to find her birth certificate, she literally got 8 hours to prepare to go on a cruise. Anyway, she ends up making it. Then I realized I booked like the wrong flights on American. She ended up getting us some flights to Delta and pieced that shit up. To this day, I don't know how she did it, but we ended up making it to that damn port, honey. She asked me, she was like, how much do I need to pay for, old girl spot? So at this point, I said, you don't got to pay nothing because she forfeit at the last minute. And when we called, they said that you can't get your money back from a cruise if you don't put insurance on it or whatever. I called them, they wasn't giving her money back, and I don't have the $500 to give because you didn't know if you was gonna come. So like, I land in Miami, I'm arguing with friend number one because she's like, why would you sit here and let her take my spot for free? I'm like, well, you said you wasn't going, you forfeit your money. If you call Carnival and tell them to get your money back, then you could do that. But as far as me making her pay, I'm not doing that because she didn't have the same courtesy of getting everything ready. Then alternate number two is like, hey, let me know when they send the money back for the flight. I'm like, they don't even give money back for the flight. But I end up disputing the flight and they end up getting my money back. So I gave her her money back, her little $300 back. At this point, I'm just irritated because it's just like, I just feel like everybody was just so inconsiderate. No one cares that it's my birthday, right? But then the story gets worse. So then we're at the Bahamas and my friend that pieced up the flights is like, okay, I'm gonna do your makeup. I'm gonna do everything. We're gonna do photos, all that. We get there. She starts having a nasty ass attitude. She said that she was pregnant. Didn't even know she was pregnant. So she started wigging out because she didn't have a towel to use for the shower. But at this point, I'm just fed up and we just getting into it. And she's like, I'm about to call a ride home. I'm about to get somebody to drive to come get me, and just on the phone acting like she about to go. So then me and the other friend that's been the most nice and easy to work with this whole time, we're in the rental car. She pulls back the seat. My phone was in the crack. Didn't even think about it. And my phone shatters. So now I feel like my birthday is ruined because I can't take no pictures. My makeup is not done. Everybody's saying I'm owing them money. I done convinced this girl to stop going just for my best friend to, punk out the night before we leave. My friend that skedaddled and was able to hop on a flight in 8 hours is pregnant and she got mood swings. My other friend that gave me no type of problems ended up accidentally breaking my phone and starts crying about it because now I'm irritated. I'm like, can we go half for you to get my phone fixed? And it's just shambles. Then me and the friend that broke my phone is at the casino. We're both helping. We both playing. She won $100. Do you think that she helped me pay my phone, get my phone fixed, or you think she kept that $100? This is the thing. A lot of women are selfish and inconsiderate, moody, and I just feel like the more girls you add to a girl trip, the more stressful that shit is. If I cannot go with my man, I'm not going with nobody. And to this day, these same friends be like, can we go out of town together? And I just be like, hell fucking no.
So I really contemplated making the story or telling the story or not, but it was such a negative energy that kind of like stuck with me. I was like, you know what? I gotta tell the story. So I had a best friend of mine who was one of my really good friends for 9 years. She ended up moving to Tampa. We're going to call her by her name. Her name's Nicole. Nicole moved to Tampa, and then I stayed at the time was in Texas, right? We would always keep communication, but she ends up getting engaged, and long story short, she invited me to her bachelorette party, which was going to be in Tulum. So initially there were going to be a lot of girls coming on this trip, but a lot of girls canceled, and it ended up being 5 of us. The 4 girls all were on the same plane, I believe, and so they all landed in the Tulum airport 1 hour before I did. There's a restaurant in the Tulum airport, and they were eating there while they were waiting for me to land. I am the only person who does not know any of these people from this group. I'm not from Tampa. I've never been in Tampa. I've never met any of these girls. They all know each other, have met each other. And so when I landed, they have already pre-planned like how their trip is going to go. They talk to each other about like how this trip is going to go. I'm the one coming in not knowing anyone, not expecting how this is going to go. And I do have to put a major disclaimer because this was my fault to the max. I wore this exact shirt while I was landing in Tulum. And I didn't think twice about it because it's white and it was a complete accident. For every day that we were going to be in Tulum, we had themed outfits. I had already packed themed outfits thinking those were going to be my outfits of the day. I did not think for 2 seconds, and it was so stupid on me, and I'm super apologetic about it. I did wear white. From the airport to the Airbnb, I literally only thought that was a wedding thing. I thought you just don't wear white on a wedding. I did not think twice. It was my fault completely. But I knew that that night, once we got to the Airbnb, we were going to change anyway, and we were going to wear animal print that night. And so that's one of the disclaimers that I wanted to make, first of all, because that was something bad on my part. So as we land, I immediately get added to, by the girls, and I don't know these girls at this point, I get added to a Venmo group chat, okay? Not knowing what this is, not knowing what Venmo group is, apparently I just clicked accept, and now I was in like a split payment group, I guess. If y'all know what that is, cool. I had no idea what it was. I don't know how it works. It was a little confusing, to be honest, which I was like, okay, I don't know how they're doing transactions. My friend group, we usually keep it super, super simple. We usually just pay for ourselves. Sorry guys, the video cut off. What I meant to say was we just pay for ourselves to keep everything super simple. It's like one of us may be a big drinker, the other person, I can handle my liquor. So if I'm ordering like margaritas after margaritas, which I did the first night, I don't want that to be, it's not fair for other people to pay extra for me, and then vice versa. Like if other people are ordering a lot of things, I don't want to be responsible for paying extra when I don't have to, you know what I mean? So as I land and I get added to this group chat, immediately I have an expense saying you owe $57 to whoever. I don't even know like the names of the group at this point. And so I'm like not really thinking too much of it. I'm like, oh, I don't even know how this works. They'll probably figure it out. I'm just like happy to be here. So I land, I get to the girls, and I'm like, I give Nicole a huge hug, and then I ended up giving like the other girls who seem to have like amazing energy like a hug, and I'm like introducing myself. I'm like, hi, I'm Sydney, blah blah blah. And so then we get into the car. No one said anything about the white. Like if someone would have said something to like be like, girl, what the hell, like why are you wearing white, I would have changed like in the car. Like I literally would have been like, oh my god, I didn't even think about it, I'm so sorry. So I did not know that was a problem because everyone's energy was so good, so happy. I did have a weird feeling about one girl, and that was Nicole's new best friend. Her name's Hannah. I felt weird vibes from her from the beginning, but it was nothing that I even thought of. Like once I got in the car, it was all really just good energy.
Oh, I totally forgot to add, she wasn't nice at all. She wasn't kind. I could feel like she was like super jealous from the very, very beginning. And one of the first comments that she made to me, like she like asked something about something with a bridesmaid, and she goes, oh, wait a minute, sorry Sydney, you're not a bridesmaid. And like the whole group literally just went, damn. I kind of like laugh it off, but I was like, okay, for what? We just met.
So we end up getting to the Airbnb. We end up changing. It was animal print one night, and then we end up going out to a dinner. That's when I realized how the payments were working. They were putting each transaction of 5 girls on one card. So when we went out to eat, it was like all 5 of us who we all ordered drinks, blah, 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 on one person's card. You know what I mean? Which I was like, like why can't we just pay separately? Because I ordered a lot of margaritas, and I ended up asking the girls because I didn't know how like the Venmo thing worked. So I was like, do I Venmo you guys now or blah, blah, and they were like, no, wait till the end of the trip. So I'm like, okay. So it was like that the whole time, and I guess we were just alternating like whose card we were gonna put what on. And so one of the girls, her name was Alex, she was actually the coolest one, which was really, really shocking because at the end of the story, like she ended up being like batshit crazy, but like she was like the coolest one, and she was like, oh, do you want to get the next one like on your card? I was like, yeah, sure. Like not even thinking twice about it. I'm like, if this is how like the girls are doing it, then this is just how we're doing it. Fast forward until the second to last night. We were going to a cenote, and it was $130 per person. Now there's 5 of us, so it came out to almost $700. So they were all like, okay, let's put it on Sydney's card. And I'm like, damn, first of all, close to $700? Like, why are we doing this as one full transaction? We can all pay separately. Not to talk about like my personal finances or anything like that, but I do run a business, and I do fairly well for myself. Money is not an issue in the slightest, and I'm fortunate to be able to say that. However, owning a business has taught me how to budget, how to be an amazing budgeter. So on a specific card, which was the card that I was using for the trip, I had already, like, because I've been to Tulum, so I had already put aside a specific amount for how much that I was going to spend. Once I tried using that card, I did not have that amount on that card. That was the card that I was using for the trip specifically, not how much I have in my personal account, not how much it was for that trip specifically. So then when I tried to use another card, it got flagged because I was in Mexico. And when it texts me saying, hey, was this you or was this your transaction? I hit no, which ended up completely freezing my account. So I was like, oh, shoot. It had nothing to do with not being able to afford something. Like, it just wasn't working. That's it. And so what I did was I asked one of the girls, I was like, hey guys, sorry, this is not working. Could we actually do, like, for this one specifically, can we just do our separate payments? Like, I can pay for myself, you guys pay for yourself. Like, it's $130 per person. Like, I think that's kind of stupid. Like, why is it all going on one person's card? That question alone made shit get so awkward and weird. And so the Hannah girl, who was already acting weird for multiple reasons before, I felt like she was just like disgusted by me. The girl Alex, who is, I believe, also best friends with Hannah, okay, who is best friends with Nicole, Alex was like, here, I'll get it. And so she puts the entire transaction on her card. And the Hannah girl comes up to me and goes, you're gonna pay her back though, right? And I'm like, aren't we all paying for like our portion? Like, isn't that how like the Venmo group works or something like that? Duh, yes. So that gets handled, and then I ended up feeling a little weird, I'm not gonna lie, because everyone just kind of got like super quiet and weird, and you could tell they were kind of like you know, like looking at each other. Like, you know when that weird feeling is, like where you're like, okay, these girls are definitely probably gonna be like texting about me, or I did something to like piss these girls off, or I don't know, because I've never really dealt with something weird like this, but it just felt like weird energy. So I stepped to the side, for one, because I had a Mother Nature problem and we were all in bikinis, and I literally was like, oh my god, like, why would this start right now? So I went to the bathroom. While I was in the bathroom, I also decided to like call my boyfriend, and I was like, hey, like, can I ask you something? Like, I'm being a problem. Like, I'm with these group of girls, and I explained the situation of what happened on the card, and my boyfriend kind of like was like it shouldn't be that big of an issue. As long as you guys like all pay like your portion, you should be fine. I was like, okay. So I get back out, we end up having a fine time, and then as we're at the cenote, we start ordering drinks. And so I noticed that they all decided to order drinks, and they were like, okay, we're good, like to the server. And I was like, well, I didn't even order like my drink. So I called the server back, and I was like, and I'm gonna order drinks on my tab. And so one of the other girls, she was like, oh, Sid, we made sure to split your tab. I didn't think of it. Like, I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, that's normal. But I didn't want to be the only person that was like paying my own tab. I didn't mean for it to be like that. It was literally just the initial damn near, it was close to $700 that I couldn't have on my card. Like, anything else is completely fine, but not the $700, if that makes sense. And mind you, the other card is frozen at this point, so it literally was like a simple, like, go to your bank, contact them. This happens all the time. Like, you're traveling to a different country or a different state, and they want to make sure there's no fraud on your account. So they ask you, hey, did you make this transaction? If you hit no, you literally just call them, because they're going to freeze your account thinking that it wasn't you, that there's fraud on your account. Simple, easy mistake. Your bank account should be good to go. Mind you, I also had a business card as well. Not using that, whole different story. But my thing is that, like, why does it have to be so complicated? Like, the cenote was kind of like a spa cenote, like cenote club, like really private, really tranquil. And so they were like, okay, $130. Oh, it's gonna be for $5. Okay, why not? It was so easy to walk up there. She was going to charge me for one ticket already, and then everyone was like, no, put it all on one card. Like, why not? Why can't you come after me, pay for yours, the next girl comes up, pays for hers? It literally is tap. It's not difficult. A restaurant I can understand, because you're splitting, and one girl got one thing, blah blah blah. Like, you know, I'm not tripping on how we do certain things, but when the opportunity is more simplistic and easy, and it makes the situation easy, why are we pushing like, oh no, this has to go on one person's card? So at that point, when things just got weirder, all of the girls, they were really, really hooked on Instagram who was looking at their story. They were talking amongst themselves about people that they knew. And I am the most outgoing person. Everyone that knows me knows I can literally talk to a freaking door. I will make conversation. I like to have fun. For our Airbnb, I even bought like champagne, and I was like, guys, when we wake up, let's do mimosas, blah, blah, blah. I was the one telling them, hey, there's a club downtown that we should really check out. We're gonna have fun. They didn't want to do anything. They wanted to go home and watch true crime at like 9 o'clock on a Saturday in Tulum, which it's not my bachelorette party. It has nothing to do with me. Not a big deal. But just to give you some context of like what type of person I am, when we were going out to eat after the cenote and after that whole money debacle or whatever, their conversation was about their internal friend group, which I could not even put my 2 cents in. I could not relate to them. I could not. So of course I was sitting there quiet. And on top of that, the energy was really awkward on top of everything else. So at this point, I'm going to be completely honest. It's one of those situations where maybe it's like a personality thing, or maybe it's just because like I'm the outside person, or maybe I actually just am the problem. I don't know, and that's why I'm making this story, because I know like the comments are going to be like, girl, no, you messed up, or you weren't in the wrong, or I don't know. So at that point, now I guess like from an outsider looking in, it's looking like I'm the quiet one who's being awkward, and the rest of the group is having fun, and I'm being the weird one now. So I can see how that looked. It was more so just weird energy that was like building up. The last night when we were leaving, okay, this is when shit hits the fan. So my boyfriend was like, how's like the Tulum trip going? And this is an internal conversation between like me and my boyfriend. The girls have nothing to do with this. And I'm telling them I don't like it. I am not having fun. I'm supposed to be celebrating my best friend. And honestly, her and I, like, she's consumed with like her friend group, and she's not the same person that like I've known like when she was like living in Texas, which is fine. It is completely fine. People change all the time. And so I'm not really making it like a big deal, but I'm telling him I'm not having a good time. And so he's like, I'm gonna come to Mexico. And I was like, okay. He was like, we're gonna stay in an all-inclusive and just drive to Cancun when they're driving to the airport. I was like, you don't have to tell me twice. So I had that in the back of my mind already, where I was like, okay, like that's gonna make me feel better. But the girls, they don't really have to know about that, so I didn't tell them. So the end of the trip, once we were all going home and leaving the villa, that was when I was in the shower, and Hannah had texted in the group chat, hey, everyone, make sure, because they did say that everyone's going to pay out everyone from the Venmo group at the end of the trip. Remember that. I was the one that asked about it. So the Hannah girl ends up texting on the last day, everyone make sure that you're up to date with your payment or something like that. So I'm getting out of the shower. It was not even 5 minutes after that text when people were starting to say, like, I think Nicole was the last one who was like, I finished paying, or I'm up to date. Like, everyone should be getting up to date. So I'm the last one coming out, and I'm like, okay, I have my phone in my hand doing it as we speak, but I'm also making sure, because remember, I had $57 that I owed someone when I wasn't even there. So I'm calculating everything, just making sure that it's correct, and I send the correct amount, including tips, including if I had extra margaritas, I want someone to, I want to be able to give more, or I don't want to be overcharged. I think that that's completely normal. Gosh, this is a long video. As I'm opening the door and I'm walking out, literally doing the Venmo on my phone, I could just hear it in the Hannah girl's voice. She was like, so are you going to pay? And so I'm like, yes. And so as I do it, I had owed, I want to say it was like, I had already spent X amount of dollars, and I think I owed $300, right? So as I'm sending it, it said that I owed it to a specific girl. It was confusing how it worked, but I owed X amount to a specific girl. So it was like $300 plus some extra money. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay. And so I Venmo on the group, and Venmo goes, can't complete this transaction. Had nothing to do with the card, but it freaking sucked. In their minds, and I could see it on their face, because of that cenote situation, they were all like, yep. So immediately, you know, like a freaking normal person, I'm hoping I sound normal. I turned to the girl and I was like, can I just Cash App you or Apple Pay you or whatever? Like, easy fix. You're still getting your money and you're getting it instantly. Her answer goes, I mean, you literally can just Apple Pay your Venmo. I didn't know what that meant. So at that point, I'm like, and I am getting a little frustrated because I can tell these girls don't like me. I can already see it, and it's the last day, and I'm honestly irritated. I'm bored. The trip was boring. They were hooked on their phones, hooked on who was viewing their stories. None of them had over 1,000 followers. So I'm like, why does it even matter? You know, that's all they talked about the entire trip. It was honestly boring. I was bored out of my fucking mind. I show her the message that Venmo is showing me. I'm like, no. Can I Apple Pay you? And she was like, I guess. Okay, so I Apple Pay her, boom, guess what? She got it. And so then it said that I owed an extra $57. Remember that $57 from when they all went out to eat and I was still on the airplane? So Hannah goes, you still owe this girl, Alex. She goes, you still owe Alex $57. No, I don't. She was like, yeah, you do. And I tell her, so I explained the transaction, and I'm like, no, I think this was a mistake. And I'm being so polite. I was like, I think this was from when you guys went to this restaurant that was at the airport. I wasn't there, so I'm showing you that's what it was. She was like, we didn't charge you for that. I was like, no, you did. It says the transaction on Venmo. She's like, but it's not that. We made sure not to put you on there. So I'm like, but you did. That's what it is. And so I show them, they click on it with their own fingers and they look at it and it says the airport restaurant, and they were silent. And so then they were like, okay, so now we're all paid up. So you think. So then I hear some whispering in the back, and Hannah is telling Alex it would have been the same price anyway. And I forgot to add, she also turned to me and was like, we all spent a lot of money on this trip. And I'm looking at her like, we all spent a lot of money on this trip, okay? But no, it's not fair. I'm not paying for y'all's meal just because y'all want me to. Like, I wasn't even there in Tulum at that point. I wasn't even there. So they're pissy, they're mad, they're whatever. They're talking under their breath, probably texting about me. I didn't give a fuck because I knew that they were about to go in the car to go to the airport. And what happens is when they walk out, their car comes up and they're like, all right, everyone, let's go to the airport. And another car pops up. And I'm like, sorry, guys. I'm going to Cancun. I'm extending my trip. But y'all be safe, though. Y'all have a safe flight. Gave everyone a hug. It was an awkward hug with Hannah. So then they're going to the airport. I'm going to Cancun. I get this long text. We all had a group chat. So we had the Venmo chat, which was for money, and then we had like an actual like iPhone group chat. So I get a long text in the group chat, and that's when all hell broke loose, and I'm gonna have to make part 2 for that.
Story time on the time that my mom took me out of the country for my birthday, and I got separated from her during ziplining, and I probably would not have never seen my family again. So it was my 16th birthday. I was turning 16. My aunt was turning 18. We 2 years apart. That's like my sister. We were raised like sisters. That's my girl. I don't have a bunch of friends, and neither do she. So instead of me having like a sweet 16, my mom just was like, I'm gonna take you out the country for your birthday, like girls trip. So we went to DR, and this was around the time where they was like putting stuff in people's drinks. Like, it was a big thing. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was like a whole big thing on the internet about people getting slip stuff and all of that in DR. So my mom was already like on edge because we didn't really like find out about that until we got there. So yeah. So she had like a whole itinerary for us. Like I said, I was turning 16, so this is like a big thing. It was me, her, and my aunt. It was a girls trip. It was just us out there for like, I think it was like 5 days. So everything was going good. We went ziplining on day 2 or day 3. So it was like a company that she had like booked with, where we did like ziplining, we did like ATVs and like the little mopeds that you like push forward and you drive. Yeah. So keep in mind, this company, like where they do everything at, is like in the middle of nowhere. Like we're in like a forest. So everything's going good. Everything was cool. We did the first zip line across. Cool. Second zip line across. Cool. We get to the third zip line. So at the end of each zip line, of course, there's somebody at the end to like stop you from when you coming fast. I don't know what they call them, but they be up at the top like waiting for you to come across. So when we did zip lining, I was scared to go first. So my mom went across, my aunt went across, and then it was my turn. So keep in mind, each time we did a zip line, whoever was up at the top, they could see who was ziplining across. So I was last, so I was never able to see my mom and my aunt zipline, right? But they were able to see me. They go, both of them, good. It was my turn. My mom said all she seen was me zipline a completely different way than what they did. I did not know because, like I said, I was at the bottom. I never seen them zipline. I just knew when they told me it was time for me to come up the zipline across. So I zipline across, and when it was a man and it was 2 ladies. I zip line across, they stop me, whatever, and he's taking my stuff off so that I can go down to the bottom. But each time we zip line, I saw my mom and my aunt when I got off the zip line. This time, my aunt and my mom was nowhere to be found. So immediately, I'm looking around like, where the fuck is my mom? Where the fuck is my aunt? They're nowhere to be found. So I'm panicking, and the man like still trying to take my stuff off. And I'm like, where's my mom? Where's my aunt? And he's acting like he don't understand English. So like I said, it was 2 ladies and it was a man up at the top, like at where I ziplined at. So I'm asking them, I'm like, where's my mom? I was with 2 other people. Where are they? So the man, he's like, it's okay. Like, we're going to take you back to your mom. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay. So like I said, it was 2 other girls up at the top. He comes down. He's like, I'm going to take you to your mom. We're in the middle of nowhere. I cannot see my mom. I cannot see my aunt. The only people that I see is the 2 ladies that's up at the top and the man that came down like, I'm going to take you to your mom. We're in the middle of a fucking forest. Just nothing but trees. I was like, no, you're not taking to my mom because I can't beat you. If you take me in these damn woods and I'm fucked. Like, it's nothing I can do with you. I've always been like a thicker girl, but this man, he wasn't like big, but he was bigger than me. And men are strong. Like, fuck now. I was like, no, tell one of them girls to come down here and take me to my mom. I knew if something happened, I could whoop their ass. But him, fuck no. Like, I couldn't do nothing with that man. So he still insisted, like, no. Like, I'm gonna take you to my mom. I'm like, fuck, like, no. Go get her and tell her to come. Like, no, I'm not going in the woods with you. Absolutely not. So, y'all, I still got all the equipment on me. Like, I'm going off. Like, no, you're not taking me in the woods. And he's still, like, he's speaking English, though. Like, I'm taking to your mom. I'm just like, when I was just up there, you didn't speak fucking English. Like, you didn't know what I was talking about. So, in the midst of, like, us going back and forth, I hear my mom, like, calling my name. And I'm like, I'm right here. Y'all, I swear, if that man would have took me in the woods, I probably would have never seen my mom again. He was so adamant on him taking me and the ladies not taking me. I knew something was going to happen. My mom told him, when I met up with her, like, she told me, she was just like, I told him, like, go find my daughter right fucking now. Like, go get my daughter now. I was never supposed to zip line a different way. I don't know what the fuck they had going on. I really don't know. We didn't even finish the zip line course thing because I just was scared. My mom was scared. And like I said, it was just me, her, and my aunt. We're all women in like a foreign country. No. So ziplining was over. It was done with. Like, we didn't even finish it. My mom came and found me. And he had, like, when I say he had the dumbest look on his face, like, to this day, I know that if that man would have took me in them woods, something would have happened. He was too adamant on him wanting to take me and the girls not taking me. If y'all all at work, if y'all all do the same thing, what's the big deal of one of them? It's 2 of them and 1 of you. Why can't they take me? Y'all, I swear, the way he looked like a creep. He just was like acting like he didn't speak English. Then he was speaking English. And of course, like, you gotta sign a form. They know how old you are and all of that. So they knew I was like young, whatever. Like, I was only 16. So, but I'm not no dummy. Like, I'm not no dummy. So, yeah, he didn't take me in the woods. My mom came and got me. And ziplining was over. That shit was a rant. Story time on the time that my mom took me out of the country for my birthday. And I got separated from her during ziplining. And I probably would not have never seen my family again. So it was my 16th birthday. I was turning 16. My aunt was turning 18. We 2 years apart. That's like my sister. We were raised like sisters. That's my girl. I don't have a bunch of friends, and neither do she. So instead of me having like a sweet 16, my mom just was like, I'm gonna take you out the country for your birthday, like girls trip. So we went to DR, and this was around the time where they was like putting stuff in people's drinks. Like it was a big thing. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was like a whole big thing on the internet about people getting slip stuff and all of that in DR. So my mom was already like on edge because we didn't really like find out about that until we got there. So yeah. So she had like a whole itinerary for us. Like I said, I was turning 16, so this was like a big thing. It was me, her, and my aunt. It was a girls trip. It was just us out there for like, I think it was like 5 days. So everything was going good. We went ziplining on day 2 or day 3. So it was like a company that she had like booked with, where we did like ziplining, we did like ATVs and like the little mopeds that you like push forward and you drive. Yeah. So keep in mind, this company, like where they do everything at, is like in the middle of nowhere. Like we're in like a forest. So everything's going good. Everything was cool. We did the first zip line across, cool. Second zip line across, cool. We get to the third zip line. So at the end of each zip line, of course, there's somebody at the end to like stop you from when you coming fast. I don't know what they call them, but they be up at the top like waiting for you to come across. So when we did zip lining, I was scared to go first. So my mom went across, my aunt went across, and then it was my turn. So keep in mind, each time we did a zip line, whoever was up at the top, they could see who was ziplining across. So I was last, so I was never able to see my mom and my aunt zipline, right? But they were able to see me. They go, both of them, good. It was my turn. My mom said all she seen was me zipline a completely different way than what they did. I did not know because, like I said, I was at the bottom. I never seen them zipline. I just knew when they told me it was time for me to come up to zipline across. So I zipline across, and when it was a man and it was 2 ladies. I zipline across, they stopped me, whatever, and he's taking my stuff off so that I can go down to the bottom. But each time we zipline, I saw my mom and my aunt when I got off the zipline. This time, my aunt and my mom was nowhere to be found. So immediately, I'm looking around like, where the fuck is my mom? Where the fuck is my aunt? They're nowhere to be found. So I'm panicking, and the man like still trying to take my stuff off. And I'm like, where's my mom? Where's my aunt? And he's acting like he don't understand English. So like I said, it was 2 ladies and it was a man up at the top, like at where I ziplined at. So I'm asking them, I'm like, where's my mom? I was with 2 other people. Where are they? So the man, he's like, it's okay. Like, we're going to take you back to your mom. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay. So like I said, it was 2 other girls up at the top. He comes down. He's like, I'm going to take you to your mom. We're in the middle of nowhere. I cannot see my mom. I cannot see my aunt. The only people that I see is the 2 ladies that's up at the top and the man that came down like, I'm going to take you to your mom. We're in the middle of a fucking forest. Just nothing but trees. I was like, no, you're not taking to my mom because I can't beat you. If you take me in these damn woods and I'm fucked. Like, it's nothing I can do with you. I've always been like a thicker girl, but this man, he wasn't like big, but he was bigger than me. And men are strong. Like, fuck now. I was like, no, tell one of them girls to come down here and take me to my mom. I knew if something happened, I could whoop their ass. But him, fuck no. Like, I couldn't do nothing with that man. So he still insisted, like, no. Like, I'm gonna take you to my mom. I'm like, fuck, like, no. Go get her and tell her to come. Like, no, I'm not going in the woods with you. Absolutely not. So, y'all, I still got all the equipment on me. Like, I'm going off. Like, no, you're not taking me in the woods. And he's still, like, he's speaking English, though. Like, I'm taking to your mom. I'm just like, when I was just up there, you didn't speak fucking English. Like, you didn't know what I was talking about. So, in the midst of, like, us going back and forth, I hear my mom, like, calling my name. And I'm like, I'm right here. Y'all, I swear, if that man would have took me in the woods, I probably would have never seen my mom again. He was so adamant on him taking me and the ladies not taking me. I knew something was going to happen. My mom told him, when I met up with her, like, she told me, she was just like, I told him, like, go find my daughter right fucking now. Like, go get my daughter now. I was never supposed to zip line a different way. I don't know what the fuck they had going on. I really don't know. We didn't even finish the zip line course thing because I just was scared. My mom was scared. And like I said, it was just me, her, and my aunt. We're all women in like a foreign country. No. So ziplining was over. It was done with. Like, we didn't even finish it. My mom came and found me. And he had, like, when I say he had the dumbest look on his face, like, to this day, I know that if that man would have took me in them woods, something would have happened. He was too he was too adamant on him wanting to take me and the girls not taking me. If y'all all at work, if y'all all do the same thing, what's the big deal of one of them? It's two of them and one of you. Why can't they take me? Y'all, I swear, the way he looked like a creep. He just was like acting like he didn't speak English. Then he was speaking English. And of course, like, you gotta sign a form. They know how old you are and all of that. So they knew I was like young, whatever. Like, I was only 16. So, but I'm not no dummy. Like, I'm not no dummy. So yeah, he didn't take me in the woods. My mom came and got me. And ziplining was over. That shit was a rinse.
Y'all come straight off the plane, Missy. I gotta tell y'all about the ATL girls trip and I'm providing receipts for everything, so y'all just pause to read. I'm not gonna say anybody's real name, but I might show their photo. Y'all, please don't go try to find them, please. Keep this between us. The trip starts out real smooth. I'm the birthday girl's little god sister, and she has friend 1 and friend 2 there and her boyfriend. I decide to invite my friend that lives there out with us because she's cool. So the vibes are cool until I notice, or till me and the other friends notice, that the birthday girl's boyfriend is flirting with my friend. First of all, you don't got no room to do that. You ain't paid for a single bottle. But nothing said until we get back in that car. I don't know what happened. I know the birthday girl ends up arguing with my other friend that I invited to the club. She ends up wanting to fight her. She said it had nothing to do with the fact that her boyfriend was flirting with my friend. But so when we get back from Opium, we drop both of their asses off, the boyfriend and the birthday girl, at the house because they're clearly too drunk to go anywhere else. So we get to Babylon, and we don't want to spend $2,500 for this section because we've already popped bottles for the night. We're really done drinking. We just want to eat. But the server is getting continuously irritated with us because it's empty in there. We didn't even want to really pop it in there. The server stiffs arm me. The security guard thinks this is a fight going on. So him negligently sprays pepper spray in the whole building. And I don't know if y'all caught that, but the security guard of Babylon literally it gets worse from this, okay? Pepper sprayed us in the section, ripped the girl's weave out. She was not involved at all. He just didn't know which one to take his anger out on. He gave her a black eye, and he gave her a knot on her head. He ripped the other girl's weave out. The owner, he was very, very sweet until he brought up pressing charges. The establishment was empty. The food was disgusting. We get back to the Airbnb. It gets worse because now me and the birthday girl are arguing about whose fault it was this ordeal happened, and we're arguing about the fact that I invited my friend out with us. She's still drunk, but in the midst of us arguing, she throws some juice on me. I go in the room and shut the freaking door. Even though she's telling me to get out of the Airbnb, I paid a portion of the Airbnb. I'm staying. Her boyfriend gets up and breaks the door down of the Airbnb. Like, door off the hinges. At this point, it's time for me to go. So I end up calling one of my friends. The birthday girl goes and tell her boyfriend that I got niggas pulling up. This man comes downstairs and pulls a gun out on everybody. Y'all, part 2 tomorrow. It's too much for me right now. Yes, it gets worse.
Story time on the girls' trip to Houston that went wrong. I hope y'all are ready. And if there was a Bible right here, right now, put my hand on the Bible. I'm not lying about nothing that I'm about to say. Because honestly, y'all, I thought like this would never happen to me. Like, you know, you hear stories all the time about the girls on TikTok going on these girls' trips. They falling out, they fighting, they ain't coming home as friends. It's always in Miami or in Jamaica or in Mexico. But no, y'all. Houston. I didn't even follow with nobody because they wasn't my friends, and I was trying to be respectful of my friend and not tell the story. But I'm not gonna tell it in a messy way, but I did give her permission to tell the story, so I'm gonna tell y'all. Hopefully this don't, I don't want this to blow up only because like I just don't want it to blow up because I just want to tell. Everybody keeps asking me what happened, and I'm just gonna tell it on here and it's gonna do whatever it does. I am nervous to tell it because I'm like, what if y'all don't agree with me? But like I can admit maybe at some parts where I was wrong, but we'll get to that. I'm gonna try to keep this in one part because nobody wants to listen to multiple parts. So honestly, we just about to jump straight into it. I was supposed to be doing skincare, but I talk with my hands. I ain't gonna be able to do skincare while, you know, I'm trying to talk to y'all. I do have screenshots, I have evidence, I have text messages to show y'all. So whatever I do have to like tag, I'm gonna tag in part 2. But let's just get into it. So basically, y'all, I'm going to give code names, but I'm not giving much code names. I'm only going to give code names to the girls that I'm not cool with. But everybody else, y'all getting called by name. I'm not doing all of that because I'm going to forget. So basically, my friend Zai, we've been friends since high school. We got closer over like the past 2 years. You know, we're adults. We relate. We're trying to do things with our life. That's my girl. We vibe on like a totally different level. Like, she's my friend. I could talk about God. We could talk about everything. And yeah, that's just my girl. So once we came back from my birthday trip in October from Atlanta, we talked about going to Houston. Keep in mind, us two plus my best friend, we were supposed to be going to Houston to apartment tour and explore and go out a little bit. So she ended up graduating from college in December of 2024, the December we just had. And originally she invited me on her girls trip to, I want to say it was Jamaica. The original trip, as far as I was concerned, was not to Houston because that was a trip that we planned to go on together by ourselves without her friends. So basically, I get a message from her. She's telling me, you know, we're doing a girls trip to Houston for her graduation trip. She wants me to come. And honestly, I felt like if I didn't come, I would feel bad because she took the time out to come on my birthday trip to Atlanta. Mind you, she lives in Florida. I live in South Carolina. So I'm like, I cannot miss my girls trip. Like, I already told her I would come on her graduation trip. My best friend couldn't even come with me. But I'm like, I gotta go. Because me, I'ma always feel bad if I don't stand on what I say. I'm out of breath. But yeah, so I'm like, I gotta fucking go. I gotta go. I'm gonna try to not curse for real because I just cussed on accident. But I'm like, I gotta go. So I'm like, all right, cool. But then I'm like, but wait, her friends are coming. And on top of that, y'all, it was 8 of us total. 7 of them coming from Tally, where they're from. 1 of me coming from South Carolina. I'm coming by myself and I don't know these girls. So of course, I'm low-key like, oh my gosh, like, should I even go? Like, I don't know them. Like, what if they're weird? What if they try to fight me? What if they kill me and kidnap me? Y'all know a whole bunch of shit be going on. And I think like that because I'm not going to let nobody get over on me. Like, I'm not doing that. And people are crazy. But I sucked it up. I booked my flight. I bought my clothes. Like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to go to Houston. I'm excited. I've never been. And I'm just like, you know what? If the girls are weird, I'm just going to book me a flight and I'm going to come back home. I'm going to change my flight and I'm going to come back home because I don't do the weirdness. I am a straight, no BS person. I don't play like that. I might be only 21, but I am grown. I handle my business. I have my own business. I am on my P's and Q's. Y'all not finna play with me. So, we in a group chat, we get added to this group chat. I'm looking at the itinerary and I'm noticing, I'm like, you know, this itinerary, it don't look like what me and friend was talking about. All I see is club, E. So it's given we finna be shaking our ass and we finna be big bags. And I'm like, this don't really look too right. Where's the activity? We were supposed to go horseback riding. We didn't do that. The only activities we did was pole dancing and we did the art museum. There was supposed to be way more on there than what we actually did. I'm not a partier, but I also go along with whatever the group wants to do. It's not my trip. I can't take over. But at the same time, too, her friends took over the itinerary. And she called me like a couple weeks before we left and she was upset because she already was just like, you know, this is not how I'm wanting my trip to go, basically. So we texted in the group chat. We all sent pictures to introduce ourselves. I think that was really for me and Chloe, who's her other friend, who is from there, but she doesn't hang with the girls. She don't know them at all. And also her other friend, Naja, which I know Naja. She came on my birthday trip. So we always just sending pictures, see how we all look, da-da-da. Now, I remember, which wasn't a big deal, but sometimes when I would text in the group chat, nobody would respond except Zai and maybe one other person. I can't really remember who. But I was just like, like, every time that I'm texting, like, nobody's really saying nothing. But I'm also an overthinker, so I'm like, Lexi, don't think too much into it because it's probably nothing. Which, at the time, I don't think it was anything. We just don't know each other. But, you know, whatever. So we get there. Now, mind you, I flew in. Zai and Chloe flew in. So they flew in from Florida, I flew in from South Carolina, and we all met at Houston's airport. So we get to the airport and the rest were driving 10 plus hours because they were scared to fly. Totally understandable. Y'all were too scared to fly. That's why y'all drove 10 plus hours. Right. Okay, so they're still on the way, but we're at the airport and automatically, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I clicked with Chloe. Like, we were in literally, y'all, throughout the whole trip, I'm like, literally one night we was sitting in the bed, we was talking, I'm like, girl, is you me? Because why are we saying the same thing? Like, I hope I can actually have a friendship with her because we are like, I don't know, I love her a lot. I don't really know her, but I love her. Like, she's so down to earth. Like, she's like splitting image of me, like who I am on the inside. So yeah, basically we land. I'm already like, dang, like I like Chloe. We go out to eat. And then now it's like we're supposed to be getting early check-in for our B&B. Now, mind you, check-in, of course, like everywhere else, is 4 p.m. Meaning if we're getting 2 hours early for check-in, we're checking in at 2 p.m., right? So she's on the phone with her friends. Sai's on the phone with her friends. She's like, yeah, we're just coming to get something to eat because we can't get into the B&B, that. And they're like, oh, you need to get your money back because why you can't check in? Like, basically, like, they trying to play you, like, you need to get your money back because why you can't check in, y'all got early check-in. I'm in the back seat like, bro, early check-in is 2 o'clock. It's literally 12 p.m. Why would we be able to get into the B&B if they literally checked out at 11? Check-in isn't until 2. So automatically, I'm like, are y'all slow? But like, I wasn't trying to be rude, but I'm also really like, I'm a straightforward person. Like, come on, like, we got to use our brains. Obviously, we can't check in because it's not 2 o'clock. Like, what? But at the same time, too, I don't know y'all. So I'm just like, I'm sitting in the back seat, minding my business. I'm just like, whatever. This ain't even my conversation for real. It's given. I'm going to have to do 2 parts. But yeah, so basically we ended up going, we ate, and then we left there. We went to Jordan Soul Food. It was good. Then we left there. We went to Dollar Tree. Zai was straight, like, head was straight on wanting to do goodie bags for them. So we was helping her pick out stuff. And at first she wasn't going to do the goodie bags. Now, I can't really recall why she said why she wasn't going to do them. And I'm not going to really say because I don't fully know. But I knew it had something to do with her saying she knew she was going to have to pay something else on the trip because something was going to happen. She knew. So she wasn't really wanting to do goodie bags, but she decided to do them anyways because she's just like me. When we're hosting things, that's what you got to do as a host. You do shit like that. That's just how it is. You do stuff like that. Like, come on. So she buys the goodie bags, you know, she puts everything together. We get to the B&B. It's literally a duplex, so it's house B on the left, house A on the right. We picked house B. There was 3 rooms in each house with queen beds, and they all had 2 bathrooms. So one of the girls who was riding with them from Florida, that's the girl who came on my birthday trip. So I knew her. So I said, well, Zai, so we have an even number. Bring her to this house. The 2 sisters can share a room and the other 2 get their own room. You and Naja can share a room. Me and Chloe get our own room. It was simple. So I get in the house, we was at the dollar store. I bought spray and stuff. I'm bleaching down our toilets. I'm spraying our covers because we finna take a nap. Like, we done been up since 5 a.m. We only got 1 hour of sleep last night. Like, it's time to go to bed. I'm not gonna lie. So, this is a long story. I'm not gonna hold you. So now, it's like, okay, time to take a nap, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't fall asleep immediately because I was editing a TikTok vlog. So, I hear banging on the door. As soon as, like, I'm starting to close my eyes because I'm tired, I hear, and I can't really hear what they're saying, but it was giving yelling, like, open up, like, we here. Ah. So I'm like, oh, now I gotta meet these girls. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I was a little nervous because I've never met them before. I've never seen them. I don't know anything about them. So I'm like, okay, like, it's time to meet them. So I really don't want to do too many parts. But, okay, comment part 2 for part 2 because the next part is where it's going to get interesting, I promise. I just kind of had to give y'all a backstory. Like I said, I don't want this to be too messy, so I'm going to try to keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? But, like, also, it got really messy. And it got really messy when the trip ended, when by the time we got home, they decided to bump gums. But comment part 2 for part 2, and I will post it. But I'm going to keep it respectful because, that's just how I am. I'm going to keep it respectful. Part 2 of how the girls' trip went left in Houston. Hopefully it's not much of a quality switch because I had to switch phones because the receipts is on here. The receipts is on this phone. So yeah, all I hear is, I remember getting a text saying they were like an hour out. And that's when I was starting to fall asleep. So I hear knocking on the door. And in my head, I'm like, Zai, get up and get your friends. Because I'm not getting up to open the door for them. I don't know them, so you got to go get them. So, now me and Chloe, our room is in the back of the house. Zai's is more so like in the front of the hallway. We're at the back of the hallway. So keep that in mind. So I come out my room. Once I hear Zai open the door up, and I'm like, well, people are coming in here. We're laying down. Let me get up. So I get up, and I go inside the living room, and I see the first girl in the hallway. We're going to call her Blondie. So I see Blondie, and this video is no shade to any of you girls. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm telling a story. Like, I ain't gonna lie, y'all did have me messed up a few days ago, but now I don't care no more. I'm just telling it because it's my experience, and I gotta share it because I didn't think it was gonna happen. But yeah, anyways, back to the story. I see Blondie, and I'm gonna always speak. So we both said, I don't know who said hey first, but we both said hey, and I was like, hey, like, how you doing? Da-da-da. That was that. So then I walked back to my room to grab my blanket. And then I came back out, and that's when I saw another girl come in, and we're gonna call her Oreo. Now, I actually was like, dang, Oreo attitude is not that good. But also, over the days of the trip, I also did get to learn that she is really to herself, and she's actually cool. Like, she's actually cool. But I only said that because when she came in the door, she did not speak. And I was raised based off of when you come in somebody's house, you speak. When you come in someone else's presence, you speak. So she came in, and I had to say hi to her. And I know she saw me first. Or she just didn't say hi at all. She just walked in and just didn't say hey. So I was just like, oh, hey. And she was like, hey, really monotone. And I was like, ooh, okay, like, whatever. But I think she was sleeping, you know, like I said, she's actually cool. Like, she's actually cool. She proved to be the most mature out of all of them. So, yeah, so she comes in. I ended up saying hey to her, and she ends up walking to the back of the house, and she starts looking around. And I'm like, why are you looking around when your house is over there? Mind you, they're staying in house A. Remember, we're in house B. But she looking around, and so I walked to the back of the house, and me and Chloe was just kind of looking at each other like, oh, okay, like, whatever. But like I said, she actually ended up being cool. Like, she's cool. So then, again, I walked back up to the front of the house, because I think Chloe came back up at this point, and now I see the two sisters. We're going to call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. Thing 1 is going to be the bigger sister. Thing 2 is the smaller sister. So I don't know who I saw first. I don't know if I saw Thing 1 or Thing 2 first. But off rip, I love their energy. Because they're like, oh, hey, like, really bubbly, really sweet. Seem really down to earth. So I'm like, oh, hey, like, you know, how y'all doing? They're like, oh, we good. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know, they seem cool. And they was cool. Like, after that, Oreo went over back to the other house. I think she went back to sleep, and we all went outside. Now, I don't really smoke or drink, but they were outside gardening, I think is what y'all call it on TikTok. So they outside, they doing that. And, you know, we talking, and everybody's cool. I'm like, okay, like, this trip might be okay. Like, now I'm getting a little excited, because I'm like, okay, like, we might be good for real. So now they're like, oh, we hungry. And mind you, we already ate. But they was like, okay, y'all, let's go to Kroger. They wanted to go to Kroger, the liquor store, and they wanted to get something to eat. They wanted American Deli. I wasn't really hungry, but we're all going. They said, y'all can ride with us and let's go. Mind you, y'all can ride with us and let's go. Now, me personally, when I go out of town, I'm always flying. I'm used to Ubering everywhere I go. So this whole rental car thing, so remember, it was 4 of them that drove down. Well, 5 of them that drove down. It was an 8-car vehicle. There's 8 of us total. So they offered for us to come in the car with them. So, okay, cool. Obviously, I'm not going to Uber by myself if everybody else is going. Like, that's just kind of like, okay. So, we ended up going to Kroger. American Deli was closed. So, Kroger probably was like 10 minutes down the street. After Kroger, Chick-fil-A was like right there. And then we went to the liquor store. Okay. So, now we're at the liquor store. I brought my own liquor. I had 2 green tea shots, a small shot of Don Julio, some On the Rocks, and I had XXL wine. So, I didn't even want to participate in the liquor buying. But because I was trying to be a good sport, when they said this is how much money we gotta all put in for the bottle, I just sent my money because I'm just trying to be a good sport. Although I did drink a little bit of it, but it wasn't much. But I only drank it because I didn't end up putting money in it. So now we get back to the house. I'm thinking everything's good. No, wait, am I missing something? Yeah, so we get back to the house, and now they're like, okay, I almost confused the days, y'all. But we get back to the house, and they're like, okay, y'all, now let's everybody go change into your cheetah print pajamas and meet back in our house, I think at 11 or 12. So we get back over there, and I wasn't really drinking because honestly, I was still trying to feel the vibe out. At some points of the night, I was getting like kind of like feeling like weird looks, but at the same time too, I don't know y'all girls, so it was just kind of like I'm not trying to think too much of it, but also like I'm very much sober, so like I kind of know like, you know, how I'm feeling. But like I said, that totally could not have been the case. I'm not gonna say that because that couldn't have been the case. So I wasn't really drinking much, you know, whatever. I'm just having fun. And then they start setting these alarms. Oh, there's something on my phone. Like, there's a bug on my ceiling. They start setting alarms for everybody in the group had to set an alarm. And when the alarm went off is when we had to take shots. Now, I think this is where everything went downhill at because obviously they're going to get drunk. But mind you, I made me a lemon drop, so I was sipping all night. I'm not taking shots because I don't know y'all. I don't know. I'm not comfortable enough around y'all to get drunk. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm not comfortable enough. So I was very sober actually. So now it's like, okay, so Blondie had a charger. Now I saw the charger because she was sitting next to me the whole night, but I'm not sure it's the charger she thought it was. So Blondie had this charger that she was holding onto all night alongside some cups. So they were like stacked and they were on the floor. So now as the night is ending, you know, they're getting tired, her phone starts to die, right? So she's like, oh, I can't find my charger. Like, I think Oreo took my charger. She's the only one who has an iPhone 16 and I have a 15. So we both have C cords. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So I'm like, okay, well, let me help you look for it. So I'm scrambling around the house. I looked in the refrigerator. I looked in the freezer. I was up in cushions. I was moving couches. That I was doing everything trying to help this girl find her charger because she was mad. She was livid. And I'm like, well, dang, like, she was really, really upset about this charger and accusing this girl of taking her charger. So, like, in the midst of us looking at stuff, they're going back and forth in the room trying to tell the girl, like, we think that's Oreo. We think that's Blondie's charger, like, whatever the case is. She like, no, this is my charger, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up stepping outside. Now, I don't know who the fourth person was outside with me, but this was the first red flag that I picked up about this friend group. And I hope that they, well, you know, actually, Oreo do know about it now because my friend told her. I step outside, and I'm outside with thing one, I think I said was the bigger one, I think. And I was outside with Blondie, right? Right? Like I said, this was the first red flag. So they're basically saying like, oh, like, I don't even know Oreo for real. We just work with her. Like, she's not really my friend. Insinuating that that's more so Zai's friend and they don't really care about her. I don't even play with her like that. Now, this is what Blondie's saying because she's mad about her charger. I don't even play with her like that. Like, I mean, just going on and on. I'm like, ooh. So in my head, I'm like, this is my first impression of y'all. And mind y'all, also, this was the second red flag. The first red flag was when we was in the car on the way to, like, the liquor store or something. Whatever we was on the way with. They were talking mad trash about this old friend, this old girl that they used to be friends with, who none of them are no longer cool with, but dragging her name. And I had one of my AirPods in, so I couldn't fully hear the full conversation. But I'm just like, wow, like, and in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, if Zai falls out with these girls, they are going to drag her name. These are nobody's friends. And that was the first red flag, was in the car, me hearing them talk so bad about that girl. And then now I'm on a porch and her two friends are talking about her. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to be messy, so I never said anything in that moment. I just kind of mentally noted it. Cause I'm like, I see how y'all moving, and I think something bad is going to happen on the trip. My discernment already told me from jump, do not go, because I already knew it was going to be some shady mess. But I'm like, something's going to happen. So I went back inside, y'all, and I kid you not, as we're talking, like, they're literally talking about the whole charger situation. I started recording on my phone, so hold on. Now, this is more so me just kind of recording. Like, I'm just recording my face. I'm, like, low-key drunk. Like, I was about to post with my close friends, like, oh, the girls are arguing. But they weren't arguing. They were more so just speaking. But just listen.
We're charging her in. Now, I'm in my duffel bag.
Oreo.
Walk up here with it?
Thing one.
So, I'm saying, how did that charger appear? That's not a charger. Jada said
She said she came out here with her charger.
she left her charger in the room. Oh, okay.
So that was basically Oreo just saying she never took her charger out the wall. So basically, Blondie ended up going inside the room, snatching the charger out the wall. And Oreo gets mad and she's like, she comes out the room, storms out the room. She's gonna have to go to the store because she needs her charger. And basically she's not gonna go back and forth with the girl. More of the story, when I looked at the cords, I have an iPhone 16, 15, and 14. 16 has a different charger. The cord is riffled. Every other cord is smooth and straight on the C charger. So I was like, yeah, actually, like, and I'm like telling like, y'all, that's not her charger, that's not her charger. But basically, her charger ended up being in thing 1 and thing 2 room. So basically, Oreo ended up telling Blondie that she did not like how she came at her about it when, you know, whole time that was her charger. But that was just the second thing I realized, like, oop, like, y'all are messy. Okay, y'all, part 3 of the story time, not the story time, of the girls trip that went left. Now, y'all gotta watch this in 2x because these are long. I told y'all I have to give y'all every single detail so y'all know I'm not tripping. Like, I have to give every detail. I have to fully explain myself. So yeah, I'm like, oh, y'all is messy. Like I said, mind y'all, this is my first impression of y'all. Y'all is nobody friends, and I picked it up off rip. I picked up on all these girls' character, and I was like, But like I said, I'm keeping it respectful because these is my friends' friends. I don't gotta deal with these hoes when I leave. That low-key gave big Lex confessionals. But yeah, so I'm like, ooh, this is messy, but I'm finna go ahead and go to sleep. It's like 2, 3 a.m. I'm tired. Like, it's time to go to bed. So we go back over to our house, and I'm showing the girls in our house the chords. And I'm like, yeah, y'all, like, high-key, like, and they're like, girl, like, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, that's real crazy. So then me and Chloe, I could tell me and Chloe was, like, low-key giving side eyes, but at the same time, too, y'all, this whole trip when I was peeping little stuff, I never wanted to say anything to Chloe because I thought Chloe was close with them, but come to find out, that was her first time meeting them as well. So yeah, now we go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and I believe this morning is when we had our pole dancing class. I have to refer back to the itinerary on all, like on the story time, so I can make sure I have everything together. So basically, remember, we got a rental because, well, I don't know if I told you that part. We got a rental because we landed at 9 a.m. and we didn't have nowhere to put our bags. We needed to drive around. So we had to take our rental back to the airport. And I remember the night before, the girls were complaining because they did not want to get up. We had to return the rental at 9:30. So I ended up being able to push it back to 10:30. They did not want to get up and take us and come and meet us at the little return rental car place and bring us back to the pole dancing class. That was too much driving. They didn't want to do that. So we said, okay, cool. We'll Uber from the place to the pole dancing class. Keep that in mind. That's the time we did not ride with them. So yeah, we go to the pole dancing class. We take the car and then we get to the pole dancing class. We all go inside, we do the pole dancing, whatever. We leave out of there and now they're like, we're hungry. I told y'all their backs was big. But also on this itinerary, nobody scheduled brunch except for one day. The whole itinerary to me was messed up, but whatever. We'll talk about it another time. So yes, we get in the car and we're on the way to a restaurant. I just remember them kept saying, "Batty, batty, shot o'clock, take shots, take shots." And literally, I kid you not, the whole time on this trip, I'm like, is nobody concerned for their health? Why are we taking shots at 9 a.m.? Tequila at that. Does nobody want food on their stomach? Like, what in the world? So yeah, we ended up going to Trill Burgers after the pole dancing class. And then I remember we left there and then I look up and we're at a gas station. This is where it gets low-key messy. Because I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know we was even going to get gas. I got my AirPod in because, honestly, I use my AirPod as comfort. It's like a kid with their blanket. I use my AirPod when I'm in big groups of people, around people I don't know. I get really anxious and nervous. I keep an AirPod in my ear. That's what I do all the time. So I have my AirPod in. I'm looking down on my phone. I think I'm editing a TikTok or something. And I remember hearing conversation in the front about gas, but it sounded like they were talking amongst themselves. So I'm not getting in y'all conversation. I wasn't addressed. Nobody said, Lexi and Chloe, are y'all helping pay for gas? Nobody said that. So I'm in my phone minding my business. So I hear them saying something about something. I'm not paying y'all no attention. Like I said, I wasn't addressed. So we get back home and I'm going to tell y'all the message we got. I found it. So thing 2 says, and she's just so shady, like, but she's like, which this wasn't shady, but it also was like passive aggressive. But hold on, let me just read it. So if we're more than likely going to use our renter for the weekend, is there any way y'all can put in? Our money rotation is a little F now, and just to be fair. So we see that, and we like, huh? So then that's when Zai texted, or she called her and told her to come over to our house. I wish I recorded this because I was also vlogging on my YouTube channel. I was always vlogging when I was eating. This is the one time my camera wasn't out. She comes over there, and she's like, yeah, and mind you, she's trying to make it seem like she doesn't feel some type of way, but the other girls feel some type of way, right? She's like, yeah, so the girls, they just feel some type of way because they are upset that y'all didn't at least offer to put in gas. Like, y'all was riding with us yesterday and today, and y'all didn't offer no gas money, and y'all heard us talking about it, and y'all ignored us, this and that. And I'm like, we ignored y'all. And I was like, I didn't even hear y'all say anything. We weren't addressed. And so Chloe was like, if y'all wanted gas money, or if y'all basically was upset about something, why y'all just didn't say that? Like, why didn't y'all just ask for the gas money while we was in the car, instead of y'all feeling some type of way, going home, discussing it, having attitudes and being weird, then send you over here. Now now she's over here trying to play peacemaker, right? So that's when I'm like, now here is how I felt about it, and I still feel like I'm not wrong for feeling this way. So that's when I'm like, well, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, y'all are trying to say y'all are on half of a tank, right? Which was $40. They wanted us to put make sure y'all understand what I'm saying. Hopefully, let's see if y'all agree with me or not. Y'all want us to put $40, and money is not an issue, but y'all want us to put $40 into half a tank when we only drove with y'all to Kroger, everything in one area, 10 minutes down the street, that one day, and then back home from the pole dancing class. We probably only rode about maybe $5-10 of gas in that car. I know that for a fact. So, and that's what I'm telling her. I was like, now from today forward, from us riding with y'all from the, the pole dancing class and, the rest of the trip, because we will be riding with y'all, now we can fill up before y'all leave, or the next time y'all go to get gas. Yes, we will put in, because y'all are filling up a tank that y'all rode on. That's why y'all on half a tank. And so she's like, basically, she really not trying to hear none of that. So we like, okay, you know what? We can see you the money. It's not that big of a deal. Money is never going to be an issue with Alexis Simone. We can see you the money. She's like, no, don't worry about sending the money. Just send it to us whenever we go to fill up before we leave, right? That's what she said, right? So I'm assuming she went back over to the other house and made it seem like we wasn't gonna pay no money. It gives, what happened after we left is given she went over there and tried to make it seem like we said we wasn't gonna pay, but that was never the case. We literally told her we would have given her the money right then and there, but she said don't worry about it. She is messy. I'm not gonna lie, she's really messy. So yeah, that happens. And so when she leaves out, they like, oh, Lexi, you okay? Now, one thing about me, I'm gonna say my piece and I'm gonna leave you where you had me effed up at. So I'm like, they're like, oh, Lexi, like, you quiet, you okay? And I'm like, I'm good, but I just feel like that was really weird. The energy, she was like literally throwing passive aggressive energy. Like, you can tell when somebody is trying to play peacemaker, but they're the ones with the actual issue. And that's what it was given. I'm not no dummy. I done dealt with people like this before. But I'm like, you know what? It's cool. Like, you know, whenever it's time to give the money, we'll give the money. It's not that big of a deal. So now it's time to go out. We had dinner reservations at Prey at 9:30. They wanted to leave the house at 8:30. So I remember when we was at Churro Burgers earlier in the day, we're discussing how dinner is gonna go. I personally said we should Uber to dinner and Uber to the lounge, because why are we all riding in this truck and y'all are supposed to be drinking? I don't ride with people who are drinking. I do not like that. And also I was saying that because clearly y'all had an issue with us riding in the car with y'all. So they like, no, why would we Uber and we have a car? Like, we'll Uber tomorrow when we're actually going to be drinking, but tonight we'll drive. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But the whole issue was that they didn't want to come home to change from dinner to club fits because they're wearing what they're wearing to dinner to the club. Now let me read y'all something. On the itinerary, grown and sexy attire, heels, platform, wedges only. Y'all know how I'm coming. Y'all know how I'm coming. I gave grown, sexy attire because it's a dinner. You don't wear streetwear to a dinner. You don't wear club wear to a dinner. You come looking like a Barbie doll or a Bratz doll. You look up to par for a dinner. Yes, everybody has different styles, but there's a certain way you're supposed to carry yourself when it comes to classy dinners. That's all I'm gonna say. That's why they didn't have to change, because they was wearing the same outfit. And that's no shade, but I'm just saying that ties along. So, you know, whatever the case is, we all ended up going back home. We changed, and now we don't have to be to the next club. We don't have to be to the club until 2 a.m. I'm a granny. So I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to take me a nap. So me and Chloe, we ended up falling asleep, and then they woke us up before it was time to go. So now we get in a car, and we drive to the first club. And I'm gonna just tell this part quick. We drive to the first club. It was apparently $800 to get a section. We left there, went to this other club. It was a gay club. I have no problem with gay people, but it was a male gay club. Outside, nothing but niggas who are gay. I personally told them I'm not gonna be comfortable going in there. There's no females. I do not want to go in there. We left that club, went to another club. They was fighting at that club, so we was like, we don't want to go there. We went into another club, and that club was dead. So now some of them started to get an attitude because they're like, well, we don't want to go home. Like, we want to be out till the sun come up. Baby, it's 4 a.m. Y'all messed up this itinerary to the point where we have to be up at 9 o'clock because we have reservations at 11. Y'all don't know how to plan a trip. I'm like, they like, well, what do y'all want to do? And I literally sat there and I told them, don't ask me, because I'm going to tell y'all we need to go home and go to sleep. It's 4 a.m. Why are we still out? We literally have to be up. We have reservations in the morning. I think we should go home. But based off of a group decision, I will go with whatever the group wants to do. Simple, because that's how I am. I'm not going to go against what everybody wants to do. Part 4 of the girls trip that went wrong. And I feel like this story is getting long. We're 30 minutes in. 30 minutes. But I do want to tell the story, so let's get into it. And like I'm going to keep saying, I'm not trying to be messy. I did watch it back. And I'm like, my tone is giving, I'm trying to be messy, but I'm simply trying to tell my experience because it was an experience for sure. So now, you know, we drive around. They will obviously want to stay out. I'm telling them, like, you know, it's up to y'all, but I think we should go home. So we came to the group decision. Let's just go home. We could try again tomorrow. We literally have a section tomorrow, so it'll be fine tomorrow. So now we get home. We all go lay down, take a shower, do whatever. Ooh, hold on. So we had reservations at Prospect Park at 1 p.m. They wanted to leave the house between 11:30 and 12 p.m. So we get there, and actually I woke up and I felt so sick. I think it was because our house was stuffy, and I just woke up with like a sinus headache, and I just had like a little migraine. So I wasn't really too much feeling it, but I'm not a party pooper. Let's go have fun. So of course I'm all the way in the back row again, and now we pull up to the restaurant. And when we got in the restaurant originally, or it's like outside, they took us to a further back booth where it was a little smaller and it was far away from the crowd. So they ended up moving us up, right? So at Prospect Park, it was like 2 tables here and 1 long bench. So 1 party here, 1 party here. Well, everybody did not fit. Our whole group did not fit at the one table. So me and Naja was low-key hanging off, literally in between the two tables, no table in front of us. And the other table's right here. Naja could low-key fit, but I'm off to the side. So their whole friend group was sitting down. Then it was just me and Naja just kind of sitting off to the side. She was able to fit, but they're like, oh, get the table and move it closer. Now, this is really no big deal, but I'm going to add it in because I feel like I want to add it in. They're like, oh, scoot the table up, scoot the table up. So I'm struggling trying to move the table. Naja ends up getting up helping me to pull the table closer. But even then, it's not one of the tables where we're sitting across from each other. We're literally sitting like this. So the whole time at the restaurant, I feel like they might have thought, like, because I even texted me and asked me what was wrong. Nothing was wrong, but literally, y'all, I could hear no conversation. There was loud music blasting. So I couldn't hear no conversation. Like, I'm sitting literally, like, on the other side. Like, literally on the other side. I can't hear anything that they're talking about because conversation was really happening on that end. So I couldn't hear anything. So I just really wasn't participating in conversation. I was editing a TikTok vlog, honestly. It was no big deal to me. I'm just like, cool, whatever. So we leave there, and then we end up going to the art museum. That was cool. I didn't really pick up no weird vibes there. And then we left the art museum, and we went back home. Now, this is where things kind of got interesting for me. So we get back home, and I remember earlier that morning I was trying to spray my Even spray, but it wasn't spraying. So I kept saying I needed to go to the hair store. Also, I needed to get some eye drops from Walgreens because my eye was red from my bottom lashes. But when we were on the way to the airport the day before to drop the car off, we didn't have time because we were running late, so we weren't able to stop by Walgreens. So I was like, either I was going to Uber there or I was going to, ask if we can go while we was out. But after the whole gas situation happened, I honestly didn't want to trouble them by asking them to make any extra stop because I didn't really like the energy. And that was just me, honestly, like, not being sure, like, how they were really feeling. And I was just like, I'm good, like, I'll figure it out. So we get back home, and I'm telling them, like, yeah, like, I think I'm going to change my hair to this style. It was me, Chloe, Zai, and Thing 2 on the porch, and we were talking. And so I was like, oh, Thing 2, do you have a wax stick? She was like, yeah, you can use it. I'm like, okay, cool. She was like, do you want it now? And I was like, well, no, I'm going to wait until I'm going to do my hair because I'm going to go lay down for a little bit. She was like, okay, cool, because we didn't have to be getting ready till like 8 o'clock, I think. So 8 o'clock rolls around, and I'm starting to get ready. Well, actually, hold on, I skipped a part. Zai ended up telling me, oh, Lexi, we're still on the porch. They're about to go to the hair store. Do you want to go with them? I was going to go with them because I needed stuff, but I said no because, for one, I did not want to ride with Thing 2 and Blondie by myself because I don't know them, and because I got weird vibes from Thing 2, and I just don't really know what they're on. And also, if Zai or Chloe wasn't coming with me, I did not want to go by myself. So honestly, I said, oh no, like, I'm good. I found what I was looking for. I just need the wax stick. And I ended up actually door dashing from Sally's and Target to get my eye drops. I needed some hair stuff, and I spent like $70-something. Totally by choice, but like I said, money ain't no issue. So yeah, basically I laid down, door dashed my stuff, took a nap, woke up, all my stuff was on the porch. I grabbed it, and now I'm texting. I'm like, hey, are y'all done with the wax stick? Can I use it? No response. So like a few minutes goes by, it's like 15 minutes, and I'm like, dang, like I'm a hairstylist. I could do my hair without a wax stick. Like, I was just doing some little buns and keeping it straight in the back. I don't need a wax stick. I got this in the back. I can do this in my sleep. So I ended up sitting down, trying to hot comb my hair, getting it together. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm vlogging. Where's my camera? And I'm like, wait, my camera was in my purse. Where's my purse? I can't find my purse. Looking all around the house, tossing them upside down. Mind you, like I said, I was putting it on the whole entire trip. I had like 6 different purses. Every outfit had a new bag. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm like, oh wait, I hope my purse is in the car and I didn't leave it in the art museum. So I texted in a group chat and I said, hey, can someone unlock the truck? I need to look for my purse. Every time I'm around them, they're on their phone, right? But nobody responded to me. And like 45 minutes had went by, and I'm low-key getting more and more irritated as I'm doing my hair. So I'm like, I know y'all see me texting. Nobody responded. So I was like, Zai, please call your friends and ask them to unlock the truck. Please unlock this truck. So she calls, and maybe like 5 minutes later, they unlock the truck. I get my purse. And I low-key had a slight attitude, but I got over it like really quick. Because I'm like, you know what? Maybe they didn't see my text, but it's 4 of y'all in that house. Somebody saw it. Like, whatever though. Whatever. So I ended up finished getting ready, and now it's time to head out, and they wanted to take shots. So I go over to their house. We're like, okay, we finna pregame. I think I took one of my, on the rock shots. But like I said, I'm not drinking heavy around y'all because I don't know y'all. So yeah, we ended up getting to the lounge. I had sent an Uber for us. They sent an Uber for their house. Well, Zai called an Uber, and then they sent one. So now we get to the lounge, and it was just a whole bunch of BS happening with that. They booked through a promoter versus versus the bottle girl or the actual people inside the club. I don't know how it works, but they didn't book technically through the right person. So they put us in a section in the very back, away from everybody. Couldn't see nothing. We were sitting on these tables that had my whole butt vibrating because we were right by the DJ booth. Mad uncomfortable. So of course everybody's kind of annoyed, but really the two sisters were annoyed because they were the ones that booked it. So they're up there trying to figure everything out, whatever the case is. We end up getting moved to another section that still barely fits everyone. We just had to sit at the top. It was whatever. So at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just enjoying my time. I pulled my 2 green tea shots out my bag. Me and Chloe both took one, and that was that. So now everybody's like, oh my gosh, Lexi, order a hookah, ask for hookah, ask for hookah. So I'm like, okay. Now, the same day prior, or earlier that day when we went to Prospect Park, they also ordered a hookah. I didn't smoke it. I told them I didn't want one. But we also ended up splitting the checks 8 ways even. But like I said, I'm going with the flow. Whatever y'all want to do, we'll do it. So now we're at the club, you know, and the guy brings over the hookah. Y'all can't sit here and tell me that nobody thought to say, oh, well, how much is the hookah? Nobody thought to ask. How did y'all think we got the hookah? Y'all thought that we got it for free? Like, I didn't really understand that part. So because when he brought the hookah and nobody pulled out their card, nobody pulled out their phone to tap it, I paid for it. It's $40. I'm used to like taking care of things, like everybody takes turns taking care of something. I took care of the hookah, which nobody took care of taking care of everything, but I'm just saying, I took care of the hookah. It's only $40, not that big of a deal. So I get the hookah or whatever. Nobody offers to pay for it except the girls who's in my house that was gonna smoke the hookah, Zai and Chloe. Naja's not smoking the hookah. They were the only 2 that offered. Keep that in mind. So now, you know, we're there all night. We end up leaving. Well, actually, I look across and I see Oreo. She's literally like swaying and doing this on a third. I didn't recall any of her friends checking up on her, but I kept asking her, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And apparently also while we were in there, I didn't peep, but Chloe peeped that there was weird vibes coming from thing 1 and thing 2 and Blondie. But I don't really know. I didn't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised. So we get outside and I ordered the Uber from my house. That Uber was like $60. So mind you, I already spent $40 for everyone on the hookah. Now I'm going to spend $60 on the Uber. My house was going to refund me for it. They were going to put their part in. Keep that in mind. But this is no issue that Blondie and Oreo ended up riding with us. But it didn't matter to me. Y'all can ride. It does not matter. But they also didn't offer to pay for the Uber. Keep that in mind. Because it's seeming that they're thinking that money is an issue. But y'all didn't offer to pay for the hookah. Nor did y'all offer to pay to tag along in the Uber. But money is not an issue for me, so it doesn't matter. If y'all ready to go back, let's go. Get in the Uber. I didn't offer y'all for money because it's not a requirement. I mean, I didn't say, can y'all pay, because it wasn't a requirement for me. So now we get back to the house. We all order pizza. We eat in. Everything seems to be cool. But I already made up in my mind that the next day I'm not going to Sunday Fun Day. I'm not drinking. I'm tired of drinking. We didn't explore the city at all. So now I'm kind of annoyed. And I'm like, I really want some apartment tour out here. So me and Chloe, we talked that night. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find some apartment tours. I ended up finding 5 the next morning when I woke up. I purposely did not get up on time. I was up, but I did not want to go to brunch because we've been drinking this whole time. We have done nothing but drink. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't do that at home. I don't want to do that here. Yes, it's spring break, but we also have not seen the city. Like, we haven't seen the city. Like, stay tuned for part 5, and that's the final part. Welcome to the final part of this story time because grandma is getting tired. It's 9:27, babes. It's time to go to sleep. So this is going to be the final part. We're going to make it do what it do. So yes, so now it's the next morning. I'm not trying to go to brunch. Everybody else was asleep anyway, so I just didn't respond. I could have responded and said, yeah, I'm up, but thing 1 just asked if we were up, and only 1 person responded. I think Naja responded and said she just woke up. And so I texted the girls in the house with me, and I was like, hey, y'all, I want to go do apartment tours, me and Chloe. This is the time I want to go. If y'all want to go, let me know, and I'll order the Uber. The Uber will be here before 1 o'clock. The first tour was at 1. Obviously, 8 girls are not going to tour apartments. Too many girls. And being that, no, it was too many girls. So, and that wasn't me being shady by not inviting y'all on an apartment tour. Like, that was something I wanted to do. That was kind of personal for me anyway, so I invited the girls I was in the house with. And anyways, I'll tell y'all why it was good we didn't invite them anyway. So now I was like, okay, Zai, I want to do these apartment tours. I called her in my room, and I was like, but I feel like we should do something with the girls. So I'm like, who downstairs in my house? It's my dog. But I'm like, there's an escape room, 6:50 p.m., $44 a person. Let's do an escape room and let's go tour the city with them. Ask them if they want to come. I tried to include them. So Zai sent the escape room or whatever, It took them an hour to respond. They responded when we left at like 12:40ish. We're in the car, and thing one text, she's like, me personally, something about she don't want to do the escape room. She doesn't have any casual clothes, so we can go ahead and do it if we want to do it, but she doesn't want to do it. Her sister emphasized it. So y'all had no intention on doing anything casual. Y'all just wanted to party. You literally said y'all didn't have chill clothes. So that's why we just left, because nobody responded to the first message, and we honestly had to get somewhere by a certain time. So we like, okay, cool, whatever. I didn't respond, but Naja did say, oh no, so she says that, and then an hour later, she texts back, and she's like, oh wow, so y'all wasn't gonna tell nobody y'all left? And then the sister texting back was like, oh man, or oh no, something like that. And I didn't respond, but Naja was like, we did ask, Zai asked about the escape room, but nobody responded. Because that was the truth. We asked if y'all wanted to go out, and y'all said no, because y'all didn't have casual clothes. Like, what were we supposed to do in that moment? Why did y'all only bring casual clothes when Zaya literally told us to bring 2 casual outfits? Like, come on, bro. So we doing apartment tours or whatever. They don't want to go to the escape room, so we didn't come back till like 7 p.m. Mind you, Zaya was sending text messages in the group chat. She sent the instructions for the Airbnb host, like saying, how to leave the house. She also was asking questions because apparently your chair was broken. And really nobody was responding except 2 of them, really, which was everybody but the sisters. I don't really recall anybody else responding in the group chat to any of Zai messages. So basically, we didn't see them or hear from them the entire day. And mind you, we're right next to each other. We're in the house. Nobody came over. Nobody's really texting. No, we're outside on the front porch. Nobody is saying anything. It was just weird vibes. And so I'm like, what is going on? But I don't really care. Y'all are not my friends. But then we get a text. Well, Zai got a text from thing 2 that says, can you send the money for the gas? Or can y'all send the money for the gas? Something like that. So high key, now I'm getting irritated because y'all don't show face all day. Now all of a sudden y'all asking about money. Which, yes, we did say we was going to give y'all money. But in my head, I'm like, I'm not giving y'all nothing. Y'all attitude is nasty. That might have been wrong, but y'all not getting my money. Y'all attitude is nasty. Like, what? So I'm loud. I don't know if they heard me. Clearly they didn't hear me, because maybe they would have came over if they heard me say what I said. But I was just like, y'all hoes. I was like, I'm trying to say what I was saying, because in a moment I was like low-key irritated. I was just like, y'all not getting my money. Y'all gonna have to come get it back in money. Because I was irritated, because what are y'all talking about? What? And on top of that too, it was just a lot going on. So does that justify it? Not really. If I say I'm gonna give you your money, I probably should have gave it to y'all, but y'all attitude was nasty, so now y'all not getting no money from me. That's where my mind is at. So I say all of that. Zaya honestly starts crying because she's like, her trip didn't go the way she wanted it to go. She also was crying about other things, but it was just she wanted her trip to go a certain way. She felt like her itinerary was taken over. She didn't get to see the city. So at this point, she's just not happy. So I don't know really what went on with the rest of that text message, but we ended up all going to sleep. We stayed up for a little bit. We talked. We went to sleep. Now it's time for me to get on my flight. I get to my connecting flight. I'm calling Zai, making sure y'all up, because y'all got to check out at 11. She calls and says that the Airbnb host is charging her $150 for the broke chair in the other house. She's telling me how they left the house. They left their goodie bags. They left some trash bags in the room. It was just a whole lot of stuff that they left that they shouldn't have left it in that way, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world? That's crazy. So I'm like, well, call me when y'all land, da-da-da. So at this point, I'm home. It's 8 p.m. And now I get a text message in the group chat. This is where it gets messy. So I get a text message in the group chat. And basically, hold on, I'm out of breath. So this text message is from Oreo. Oreo is not really confrontational. She says, hey, y'all, we're about to return the truck. Can you guys please send $12 each so we can fill it up? Naja says, okay. Thing 1 says, not you, boo. She said, you're good. This message was for Chloe, Lex, and Zai. And so I'm like, ooh, okay. So now Zai's telling them she can't send anything right now because, the charge on her card, she's not sending them no money. She got to figure out this $150. Mind you, I'm on the phone with them. Zai's really upset. Which in return, I'm upset because there was already side conversations. And thing 1 said she's not paying for the broke chair. So why are y'all in here asking me about $12 when y'all got a $150 tab y'all got to pay for y'all damages? So her sister, thing 2, is shaking my head. And Chloe questioned it, because what do you mean shaking my head? And I said, shaking my head. I'll drop the messages in another video if y'all want. And so now Blondie answers the chat and she's like, okay, Zaya, understand your part, ... What about everyone else paying something, ? This has been brought up and nobody sent me anything. Attitude. So one thing about me, I'm gonna return exactly what you're giving to me because y'all not finna play with me. Y'all not getting my money, and that's just that on that. So like I said, I can take accountability because maybe I should have sent them their money, but y'all not getting my money. Y'all attitude was nasty. Sorry. So I said, yeah, y'all not getting. I said, yeah, y'all not getting my money. Who helped for the hookah? And hello to y'all too. Because like I said, bad vibes, bad energy. We didn't hear from them all day. And so the sister just says, y'all weird. This is the bigger one. And so now they acted confused, like, oh, who paid for the hookah? Y'all could have been said something. We could have handled it that night. Or we could have handled this before we left. And I said, girl, did I see y'all yesterday? We in a group chat, we're next door. So now they low-key, like, they texting back to back. I'm talking to them by myself. So I'm like, hold up now. Like, y'all not finna gang up on me. Like, hold up. So now Chloe enters the chat. And she was like, y'all ain't responded all yesterday. And this, that, and the third. And I was like, well, why would I text in the same group chat? I got ignored next. And mind y'all, they ignored me the day before when I was asking about the hot comb, my purse, and all that. So now, little sister says, you wouldn't have got ignored if you asked for some money for some we all smoke boo. Basically, she's trying to say you wouldn't have got ignored if you asked about sending money for something we all smoked. Right. And then she was like, well, y'all just called me in a B&B saying if y'all wanted something if we wanted something, we should have just asked. And I said, you're saying that, but yet you texted Zai last night asking about the money when you could have came over. So now this is where it hits the fan. Because I said that, she like, oh, I wasn't home, and Zai, you're weird for that, because why is your friend telling me this? That. Mind you, Zai is driving. Now, Zai did say wait until I could say something in the group chat, but she was taking too long, and I was just like, no. Because I watched how they low-key bullied that girl and talking about that girl. These girls are bullies, and they think that they can say whatever they want to say and gang up on people, and you gonna let that rock. I'm not from Tally, so y'all not finna do me like that. I might be small, but y'all not finna play with me. I don't play them type of games. So now the sister's like, I said what I said, the little sister, and she leaves the group chat. So they trying to, play peacemaker, like all this over $12. Oh, I said her name. Sorry, girl. Oreo is like all this over $12. Like, she's trying to peacemake and stuff. Thing one is like, if y'all ain't have the money, just say that, because that's what it's given. So you know I had to send a voice message, because don't play with me. So basically, I'm explaining, the gas situation on why we didn't put in the first day, but we told your sister we would put it in, but now that y'all started acting weird, that's why y'all not getting my money. I'm explaining that, and I'm telling them, like, I'm not from where y'all from, but y'all not finna play with me. I don't do them type of games, that. I'm telling them what it is. So I'm like telling them, I got the hookah because y'all asked for it. I didn't mind paying for it. It wasn't that big deal. But basically, y'all in here talking about some $12 when y'all owe $150. So what's really tea? So they like, nobody told you to pay for it. Basically, like, we was gonna help you pay for it, and I'm telling them, like, y'all didn't help pay for it though, but it wasn't no problem. You saw him, we all was right there. Nobody pulled their card out at the end of the day. So what are we talking about? So here go the sister, thing one, still talking out her neck. And when you write it in someone else's shit that you did not pay a dime for, common courtesy is to offer money. I understand where you're coming from, but did your sister not tell you we did offer the money? We told her we would have been paid it, but she said don't worry about it. But on top of that, like I said, y'all not getting my money because y'all are being weird. Y'all attitude is nasty. And why are we talking about $12 when y'all still have to pay $150 that you said you wasn't paying for? Y'all trying to deflect. We're not doing that. Pay my friend her $150, then you can get your gas money.
Let's talk about the birthday trip from hell. Okay, y'all. So it was my birthday and I wanted to go out of town. And this has to do with the friend group that I'm no longer friends with no more. Okay. So y'all, I wanted to go out of town for my birthday. So originally I wanted my cousin to come out of town with me really, really bad. It was between either New Orleans or Houston. So I wanted her to go, but she couldn't go because she lives in Minnesota and it was a whole flight situation. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it, girl. It's just a birthday. So y'all, my other friends in that group, the San Antonio group, practically was like, oh, we can go on a trip with you. Like, let us know when you have updates. And one specific girl, I'm going to call her Valerie. Valerie kept saying like, hey, let me know if you're going to go, because she likes to just go out of town. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I think I'm actually going to go to New Orleans. I think this is the date. And we put it in the group chat because we had this group chat. So it narrowed down to only 3 of us actually going. And, well, a total of 4 of us, including me. But it was me, Valerie. We're gonna name the other girl Lauren, and we're gonna name the other girl Sam, which Sam is my roommate. At this time, we already were roommates for only about, I would say we were roommates for like 2 weeks at this point. Like we were still freshly new roommates. We get the Airbnb. To the Airbnb, mind you, the Airbnb, I didn't even choose the Airbnb. Like it was like practically majority choice, and whatever was the cheapest. So I was like, oh, this Airbnb is kind of like tiny. Like this is a weird Airbnb, but it's cool. The one thing about me, y'all, I complain a lot, and I will say that I complain. I love to complain. So, anyways, y'all, when we get to the Airbnb, we decide like let's go out to get some food and let's go out to drink. The girls was like, we should drink and we should come back and take a nap. I did not want to take a nap. Like I was just like, why would we drink and come back and take a nap? So I told them like, why would we sit here and drink and like go take a nap? Like I don't want to do that. So they were like, just trust me, like that's gonna be better for us because we're gonna want to stay out all night, blah blah blah. So it was what they wanted to do again. Mind you, it's my birthday trip, but I was just like, okay, cool, no problem, because I knew my friend Lauren was driving majority of the time. And I still fuck with Lauren. Like we probably won't be cool on that type of capacity, but I still fuck with Lauren out of everybody in this story. So anyways, I knew she was driving majority of the time and she probably needed a nap. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So we went to go get our drinks. So we did this bar crawl situation where we were just hopping from these different bars and we were drinking. Now it's time for us to go back home. We get back to the Airbnb and my roommate is ordering something from DoorDash or something like that. I don't know, something on her phone. And everybody's trying to take a nap. But mind you, me and my roommate Sam are sharing a bed. And then Valerie has her own bed, and then Lauren has her own little cot. I'm talking to my roommate, and I forgot what I said. I was probably like, oh, we're really taking a nap. And then I started talking about random stuff, y'all. I cannot recall. I was talking about stuff. But mind you, I'm already tipsy by then. I've already had 3 drinks, and it don't take a lot for me to get tipsy. So she was just like, she was like, shut the fuck up. We're trying to sleep. Like, we're trying to take a nap. And I'm like, girl, you're not even taking, I literally told her, I was like, girl, you're not even taking a nap. Like, you're legally ordering DoorDash right now. She's like, yeah, but everybody else is like, and I was like, I don't like how you told me to shut the fuck up. I don't like people talking to me like that. And y'all, I got a little sad. Be like, I don't like when people talk to me like that. And she's like, I'm sorry, friend. I'm just trying to say, like, be quiet. We're trying to sleep. I'm like, okay, whatever. So that was already the first thing that irritated me, but I just let it go and I just took a nap for real. Left back out. When we left back out, we decided to start going on Bourbon Street. We on Bourbon Street. It's kind of crazy. It's wild. We get to a bar, and I like the music there, but they're like, like they don't really like the vibe there and the music. Mind you, majority of New Orleans is black. Majority of San Antonio is Hispanic, right? My group of friends were 2 Hispanic people and 1 white person, right? One of the Hispanic people are really not, I mean, she's Hispanic, but she's more on the white side. So I don't even claim her as that. But anyways, y'all, that's the dynamic of the group. And there's me. We go to this bar. I'm liking the music. They're not liking the music. Valerie looks up on her phone because Valerie always tries to control every situation. And I usually don't care. I'm just like, okay, whatever. But she's looking at like, oh, let me find something that's more Bad Bunny style. In my head at the time, like, why would we go somewhere that's more Bad Bunny style where we're in New Orleans? Like, wouldn't we want to do something that's more New Orleans, more black? But, you know, I was just like, okay, whatever. Maybe we go to that next function and we still see black people. So that's why I went along with it. So, y'all, we go to the next function where she wanted to go. And, y'all, why is there not one single, like, probably me and 1 other black person in there? And have y'all ever been to New Orleans? There's nothing but black people on the streets. So you pick the one bar that has not a single black person. So I get in there and I'm kind of like, here we go again. Like, I don't ever get to go to places that I really want to go to. It's always like the majority, and the majority is not black. So it did get to me, like, dang. And it's my birthday. So at this point, my friend's trying to hype me up. Like, Lauren's trying to hype me up. And that's why I love Lauren still. Like, I don't have no hate towards her, but she's trying to hype me up. And I'm just like, this is how I am. I'm being a brat. And I'm not going to lie, I was a brat on this trip. And I was like, and then they were like, what's wrong? Like, Valerie was like, what's wrong? And I was like, well, I really do feel a certain type of way that we're at a place that only has Hispanic music and we're in a majority black place. And I feel like we always do that in San Antonio. Like, I have nothing against Hispanic music. I love Hispanic music and I love Mexican food, but I also like to experience my culture as well. So she was like, oh, well, you should have just said that. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. Like, I'm saying it like that's what it is. So she's like, okay, they were all like, okay, we can go somewhere else. So as we were leaving that place, she practically told me, so how are you going to date a Mexican? Because mind you, at this time, I was dating my boyfriend. We were not in a relationship yet. We were dating. So she was like, how are you going to date a Mexican then? And she was dead serious. To me, that rubbed me the wrong way. So that's the second thing that rubbed me the wrong way. The first thing was my roommate telling me to shut the fuck up. The second thing was asking me how I'm gonna date a Mexican. And mind you, she's Mexican. And that's why I said a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story about her. That's the same girl that told me I got 24 hours to take my content down. That's the same girl I told y'all I feel like she did not like that I was dating a Mexican man. And that's gonna be a whole nother story. All right. Anyways, she said that, and I'm like, the way that I'm dating a Mexican man now, like, I don't feel like I have to immerse myself in only his culture, and he doesn't feel like he only has to immerse himself in my culture. Like, we have to share cultural things. And she just got quiet, and then we walked to the next bar. So as we go to different bars, I wanted to go to this one specific bar. It was like a hookah bar, and the music seemed cool. So we went past it, and that's the one I wanted to go to when we went to the shop. So they were like, okay, if you really want to go to that, we can go back to that one. I'm like, yeah, let's go back to that one. So we get in there, and once we get in there, they sit down, and I get a drink. Mind you, most of the night, I'm drinking tequila on tequila. Yeah, I'm drinking a lot, okay? I'm drinking tequila, and they're drinking seltzers. I don't drink seltzers. I don't drink anything with acid in it. So anyways, y'all, they're drinking seltzers, and I'm drinking real liquor. So I go up to the bar, and I see a man. He slumped over like this in the bar, and I'm very social. Like, I can talk to anybody when I'm out. So I'm like, are you all right? Like, you good? And he was like, oh, are you good? Like, he was like, oh, I'm good. You good? Or whatever. He started talking to me, and he bought me a shot. Yes, he did. And so I'm up there talking to this man and everything, and getting my shot. And my friends assume, because I'm over there talking to him and everything, I went back to my friends, right? And they assumed that I just was like stonewalling them and separating myself from them, or taking so long at the bar, I guess. But no, I was literally trying to make sure the dude was okay. We started talking. He wanted to talk to me. He gave me a shot, and that's what was taking so long. So then once I got back to the table, I told him like, oh no, we got to get out of here. And the reason why I told him that we had to get out of there is because I knew that guy was going to think that I wanted to be with him for real, or he going to go to the next spot with us or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'm not even interested like that. I just want my free shot. Had a good time. Got to go. Like, because at this time I'm dating my man, but we're not in a relationship. So I was just like, let's just go before I give this man false hope. So they felt like as soon as we got there, I was ready to go. So they got mad about that. But they didn't even understand my perspective of why I wanted to go until the next day. Y'all, go to the next part. Let's talk about the birthday trip from hell. All right, y'all. This is story time about my birthday trip that went completely left to New Orleans. Okay, will do. But they end up still wanting to get off Bourbon Street and then go to French Quarters. But I was like, okay, cool, let's just go to French Quarter. So we see a poetry guy. So we see a guy, and he's typing up poems. So I'm like, ooh, so cute. Like, I'm about to send my man a poem. Mind you, this time he really was my man, but it's like, my man. Once I got back, he ended up being my man in about a week or two. But anyways, y'all, literally, I'm like, I should get him a poem. So I go up to these poetry people. It's a couple. It's a woman and it's a man. So I go up there and I'm talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you guys a couple? And they're like, yes, we are. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys look so similar. Mind you, I was drunk, and I know I was wrong. But I was like, I say whatever I want when I'm drunk, and I'm going to be honest. I was like, you guys look so similar. Like, you guys look like related. And they were like, oh no, we don't. I'm like, there's actually studies showing that a lot of people actually date people that look like them. Like, it's not a bad thing, but you guys do look alike. And so when I did that, I actually did the motion of like by their head, but I wasn't touching their head, y'all. I swear to you, I never touched this man's head. But what he did say, he was like, oh, don't touch me. So I was like, okay, respectfully. I literally told him, I was like, respectfully, I am not going to touch you. I was like, you must be like a Gemini. Like, y'all, because this is how I am when I'm drunk. I don't take things personal. I don't care. Like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And he was like, yeah. Like, he really was a Gemini. And I know how Geminis are. They, like, try to set their boundaries, and they kind of, you know, how they be. So, anyways, I was like, okay, well, that's good. You have your boundaries. I respect that. I like that you have boundaries. She seemed more chill. Like, y'all balance each other out. Like, I really like that for y'all. And that's how it went. These girls want to take that the next day and say, oh, my gosh, you try to touch the guy's face, and that was just too much. I get it that I was overly extra, right? The guy still wrote my poem. He never said, all right, get out of here or whatever. He works on Bourbon Street in French Quarters. Like, come on now. He deal with drunk people all the time. I never actually touched a man, but I get it. Like, I was a little extra. So they were like, oh, yeah, you were all doing that, and the guy didn't want that. I'm like, okay, cool. And I told to the guy, like, okay, I understand. Like, I'm not touching you, you know? And I didn't touch him. And he still wrote my poem, and I still paid him. And then I got y'all to get poems. That's what I to. I was like, at the end of the day, I got that man business. And, you know, my friend Lauren said she was going to get one anyway. But Sam and Valerie, y'all got him because I went and got him. So I brought that man business. All right, he know where he working. But I get it. I was drunk. I was extra. So at this point, y'all, we went to the market, and they said, oh, I started going all over the place by myself. Like, the one thing about me is when I'm drunk, I just, like, do my own thing. Like, I will return. I'm a grown adult. I will not, like, baby, I will come back and I will find you. So I must have went to another booth and was looking at stuff, and I think I was with one of our friends. So they kept saying that I kept scurrying away and talking to people. That's how I am. Like, if I'm out, I'm not going to just stick with y'all. I'm going to go also talk to people, and I'm going to come back to y'all. Like, I'm not a dog on a leash. But I could understand how they could feel. So I was just like, okay, damn, like, maybe I was doing too much. Because this is how I really act. But, like, maybe they never seen me like this because maybe I'm just always just at these places I don't want to go when I'm with them. The poetry area to this jazz club, I did not say I wanted to go to this jazz club. This was them. They wanted to go to this jazz club. Like, I only got to go to one place that I wanted to go, to be honest. So we go to this jazz. Oh, yeah, we're going to go here. So we go to this jazz place, and I'm like, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. Why the hell am I listening to jazz? Like, I'm drunk as, like, for real. So I'm in the jazz place, y'all, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. This is boring me back to death. That's literally what I said. I remember it. I was like, this place is boring me back to death. So they were mad because I was complaining about the places. Like, I was like, this place is boring me back to death. So my friend was like, oh, you know, what type of, well, Sam, my roommate, my ex-roommate, she was like, what type of drink do you want? Whatever. I'm going to get you a drink. I'm going to buy you a drink. Mind you, in the past, I told Sam to stop buying me drinks. And she could tell you that, too. I told her, don't buy me no more drinks at all, because I feel like she tried to overcompensate. And a lot of people that do that type of stuff, they try to use that against you when it's time for them to get a drink or something like that. Like, a lot of people do not do that out of the genuineness of their heart. And that is why I don't let people do certain stuff for me. And this is how she really was. So she said, oh, I'm going to get you a drink. And she's like, what do you want? I said, tequila. She went and got me a margarita. I know margaritas got tequila in it, but I literally wanted a shot of tequila. She went and bought me a margarita, and she bought me one of the frozen ones. But this frozen one, which she said I was drinking margaritas early in the day, which I was drinking margaritas earlier in the day. When I got this margarita from her, it was very sweet. And like I said, and I felt bad after, like I said, when I'm drunk, I'm blunt. So when she brought me the drink back, I was like, oh, this is too sweet. I can't drink this, literally. Like, it makes me feel sick. I cannot drink it. And she's like, I just paid $20 for that drink. And I'm like, okay, well, you drink it. I literally told you drink it then. Because, y'all, honestly, I know I was extra. And I already apologized to them, y'all. Because when I drink, I'm very blunt. It's not what I'm saying is wrong. But it's just not nice the way that I say it, to be honest. So I did say you can drink it then. Because for me, it's like, how you going to buy me a drink and then talk about what you paid for it? And I didn't even ask you to get this drink. You got the drink that you wanted to give me. I said tequila, and you came back with a mixed drink. So, anyways, I was like, you drink it because y'all barely been drinking. Y'all been drinking seltzers all day. And I'm like, seltzers is not real alcohol. Like, y'all need to drink real alcohol. Like, that's not real alcohol. Y'all, mind you, I'm drunk. And they're taking all of this personal because they told me all this stuff the next day that they were taking it personal. So, then, y'all, we end up going to get food, and this is when it went left. So we went to go get food, and we were walking towards this place that had pizza. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get pizza, because at the time I was pescatarian, so I couldn't eat no meat besides seafood. And so there was a pizza place, and then there was a girl that had a van, a minivan or some type of van, and she was selling food out of her van. They wanted to eat that food out of that van. I said, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating shit out of nobody's car. And she had seafood. I'm not eating nothing out of no person's car. So I was like, y'all can eat that. I'm gonna get some pizza. They said, okay, cool, no problem. I go to the pizza place, and I think Lauren also got pizza. One of them also got pizza, but the other two girls got the food out the car. So once I got my pizza, I wanted to sit at the bar and eat. Y'all, I'm drunk as shit. At this point, it's like 1 something in the morning. Like, it's very late. So I'm drunk. We've been walking, and I'm eating my pizza, and they're like, Valerie was like, let's go, like, eat your pizza and walk. This is how she talks to people. And this is exactly how she talked to me. Eat your pizza and walk. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat my pizza and walk. I want to sit here and eat my pizza. That's literally what I told her. I was like, I want to sit here and eat my pizza. She was like, you can walk and eat your pizza. And I was like, I'm not going to. I'm going to eat my pizza. I'm going to sit here and eat. I'm not walking and eating shit. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I've been walking all day. I just want to eat my pizza. So they said that they were waiting for me outside the bar while I was eating my pizza. But I didn't see them because the door is like this. And if they're waiting outside of the door area, I wouldn't have been able to see them. So I didn't see them waiting outside the door. But they said they were, the next day they said they were waiting outside the door for me. And I was taking so long to eat my pizza, like 30 minutes. I am a slow eater, y'all. I don't eat that fast. So they said that they ended up going to the bar across the street. All I know is I'm in the bar feeling like they left me because I don't see them outside the door. So I literally feel like I want to cry inside the bar. Like they left me. They left me at a bar by myself. I'm in the middle of like New Orleans. I'm in the city. I'm downtown. They just left me by myself. Anything can happen. So at this point, I'm getting emotional. Yeah, I'm drunk. I'm a Pisces. I've got all these emotions going on. And then once I finally walk out, because at this point, I'm about to order my Lyft. Because I'm like, you know what? After this, they already left me. I'm going home. Or to the Airbnb. So y'all, at this point, y'all, I get out and I see that they're on the balcony of the bar across the street, all three of them, and they're waving at me, and I'm just by myself. And I tell them to calm down because I was gonna tell them, hey, I'm leaving, like, whatever. I'm already irritated. So y'all, they were like, what's going on, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm going home, I'm leaving. So I start stonewalling them. I was stonewalling them, like, I don't want to talk to them, to be honest, like, because I felt like they left me. Y'all, go to the next part. Let's talk about the worst birthday trip ever, y'all, to New Orleans, part 3. Okay, girls, this time I tell them I'm taking an Uber. I'm going back to the Airbnb. They said, okay, we're not ready to leave yet. We're gonna stay out. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Y'all stay out. I'm gonna leave. Cool. So this time I get into the Uber on my way back, and I am crying. First of all, I'm standing outside by myself for a very long time. I am crying in the Uber, y'all. Like, I'm very emotional. I'm drunk. I get to the room, or get to the Airbnb or whatever, and me and Sam are supposed to share an Airbnb room, but I'm irritated. I'm like, they left me by myself in New Orleans. Y'all, this is how my brain is working because I'm very drunk, okay? Even though they technically did leave me alone in the bar by myself, they didn't actually leave me anywhere. After that, I actually got in the Uber and I went back home. So technically I end up leaving their asses. So at this point, y'all, when I got to the Airbnb, I'm emotional, I'm crying, and I'm texting my man. Mind y'all, at the time was not my boyfriend, but I sent him a voice note, and I was drunk, and I know I was drunk because I was like, babe, this happened, da, 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 da. He will tell you, like, at that point I had never even called him babe ever. So I was gone, and I told him, like, they left me, and this happened, and this, and they told me, why am I dating a Mexican man, and all this stuff. So at this point, I closed the room doors. I'm supposed to share a room with Sam, so I closed the doors. Mind you, there's no lock on the door. Sam could have opened them and lay right in that bed. Like, my cousin would have just laid right in that bed. But that's my cousin. I remember, like, these girls don't know me that well. Like, they only know me for, like, less than a year. Of course, she felt mad because I closed the door on her, as she should. I'm not gonna lie. Like, so she had to sleep in the bed with Valerie. So they were all mad at me the next morning and felt like, oh, I made the trip, like, really bad, and they never seen me act like this before, and they was concerned on how I was acting, and that they were really disappointed in me and like the way that I treated them. And it was like all three of them was like grilling me at the same time, one by one. one by one, and then some interceptions, if that makes sense. So, and it was crazy to me because Sam, my roommate, she usually doesn't care about nothing she says. She usually don't. In my opinion, I felt like she was hopping on the bandwagon of this person and that person, or she was just really mad about a $20 drink. And that's why you should stop buying me. And that, I should have known right then that's her money situation. It's like, you're always mad about some money. So how about you just stop spending money then? Like, I never asked you to buy me a drink. You offered. It was my birthday weekend trip. And if I don't want to drink it, I don't have to drink it. But I can see how you would feel if you just bought a drink and I don't want it. So I apologize. Like, I understand how people can feel, right? But I also understand how I was feeling in the moment. I think for me personally, I felt like, and I told him this too, like, I apologize. I think I felt like maybe me being in San Antonio for so long and barely being around black people, and then coming to a space where there was a lot of black people and not being able to enjoy black experiences really did make me feel a certain type of way, and I should have vocalized it, but a lot of times I shut down. So when we went to that first place, that Mexican place, I shut down instead of saying something because I just was like annoyed, and I don't like to speak on stuff when I'm mad. Y'all, so Lauren was very receptive to my apology because I apologized to Lauren because Lauren even tried to text me at one point, and I ignored her text message because I was over it. I was like in my emotions that night, and I felt like, oh, they left me and all this type of stuff. Like, I was like being a brat and was already frustrated and stuff at that point. So Sam seemed like she still kind of was annoyed about it. And Valerie, she was just like, I don't feel like I can travel with you ever again. I just couldn't believe you did that. Da, da, da. Y'all would think that I literally like put my hands on somebody, was yelling and cursing people out, like I was throwing up in places. Like, that wasn't the case. I was just literally not wanting to do certain things that they wanted to do, like, and vocalizing it or shutting down. And I still apologize because even if I want to apologize, even if I made you feel a certain type of way or I ruined your night and all that stuff, because I can't be a brat. And it was my birthday weekend, and I didn't have a good time, and they didn't have a good time, and they felt like, well, we came all the way out here and we didn't have a good time and stuff like that. And I get it, because that was an 8-hour drive, and we did go out, and it did end up being like drama, So I apologize, but I actually still felt like after that, like, it didn't feel right in my spirit, because I was like, well, maybe they just really don't like me for who I am, and maybe like this trip showed me they don't really know me for real. And so that did make me like feel a certain type of way, in a sense of like, I don't feel like these are really my friends. I just feel like these are acquaintances. And so at that point, I had already placed them as not really friends like that. And mind y'all, when I was going through all of this drinking, like through the whole sadness, when I was home, or when I got to the Airbnb and I was messaging my man, I literally was like, oh, I need to move out. Like, I'm gonna need to move out of here. I can't believe they left me. I can't believe they're really not my friends. And it's crazy because I think, like, low key, my like psyche was talking to me, like, because I really am like a very intuitive being, because I eventually end up really moving out of the house, and I eventually like really not start with them for real, and like they really never liked me because of the way they move. Like, not Lauren, but Valerie and Sam, the way they moved, and the whole fact of me moving out and stuff, confront me and all that. Mind y'all, when me and Sam got back home, she acted like everything was normal. We got past the whole New Orleans thing, but then she brought it up as when I was moving out and we had our disagreement. We were talking back and forth that she seen exactly who I was in New Orleans. I don't really think you did, because there's so many different sides of me, and I could really, like, for the fact that you cornered me with Valerie at your house, I could have really slapped the shit out of her, because you ain't seen that side before. I could have really went up in your house. I could have really cussed you clean out. You have not even seen that yet, babes. Like, I have been very, very kind to you, and I just feel like they dragged it for real. I'm not gonna lie, but they did make me really feel bad about myself, and I did apologize, and I took responsibility for like literally ruining their night, even though they ruined my night as well. All of our nights was ruined, and it was my birthday trip.
Wait a moment, please.
Girl, But anyways, y'all, that is how the New Orleans trip ended. After that, I remember we were driving back to the house. Sorry for being a brat, love you guys or whatever, because it's really not that serious, right? Lauren said that she loved me, and Valerie said nothing, and my roommate said nothing, Sam. So, and one thing I learned, that Sam bounces off of Valerie. Like when Valerie says something, she just goes with it. And I'm gonna do a whole nother video about how Valerie told me I had 24 hours to take down my video of talking about how she didn't want me with a Mexican man. So I'm gonna go into more details outside of just that whole thing in New Orleans when she told me how am I gonna date a Mexican man. And I'm gonna tell y'all about how when we went out one time and she tried to keep putting me with the black man, even though the Mexican man was interested in me and we were talking, she went behind my back and tried to link me with a black man. And we're gonna talk about that in the next story.
TikTok girlies and storytime girlies, anybody who just likes to just sit and chill, and basically I'm having a FaceTime call with y'all, so let's go. I want to do a story time, and this is about the time that you can't go on trips with everybody. You can't. Honestly, after this trip, I don't think I ever went on a girls trip again, like in a group setting. Like it was only me and one other person after this, because of how much like not even trauma, but like how much heartache this whole entire week or 5 days that we were out of town like happened. So let's set the scene, right? It was me and 4 of the girls. This is my best friend. She's one that's going. We're gonna name this other girl Sally, and we're gonna name this other girl I don't know, fucking Haley. I don't fucking know. First name that popped in my head. So it's me, my best friend Haley, and Sally, right? So we're all going to see Pauly D. Everything was good, chill, whatever, right? Night 1, we get there, we're all tired, you know. We had like a complimentary dinner because my mom did like a package thing where you got like, you could like get VIP to see certain things, to get into certain clubs before certain times, and like, you know, and with that you also got free food, so you got a free complimentary dinner. So we went there, mind you, we all were looking like flabbergasted because it was all just fucking food, like on a hot little thing from Dollar Tree on those trays, and it was just like chicken tenders and like really like not really complimentary, I feel like, in my eyes, and we all fucking got sick as fuck. So that was night 1. Night 2, we were all still pretty like tired, but we decided to go to the beach, have fun, whatever, right? But at this point, Sally's homesick because this is the first time that she's been away from her man since they've gotten together. Which, mind you, let's preface the fact that Sally, like before now, like, I don't want to talk about her ex relationship, but it's kind of important for the story, but she never used to come to anything. Like, I mean, birthday parties, holiday events, it didn't matter. Her boyfriend didn't want her to go for whatever fucking reason. So now she had a man that allowed her to do shit, but like she was so, like they also knew each other for years. So like they never really been away from each other since they got together. So like she's kind of homesick. I'm getting over having the flu because right before we went, I literally was sick as a dog, 103 fever, like couldn't get up out of bed, throwing up, like it was really bad, right? So the first night, me and her decided to stay home while my best friend and Haley decided to go out to the club. So they go out to the club, whatever, we're asleep, and at this point we're hearing slamming, and I'm like, yo, but mind you, I'm a heavy sleeper, so like I heard it, but I was just like, whatever, right? And I opened my eyes for a split second, and it was my best friend. She just came in, and she came in with a guy, but I was like, it was nothing crazy. Like I think I saw the guy go to the bathroom, and then that was it. Like that was like the majority of, mind you, my eyes were half, like, bitch, I was dead as shit, okay? So, but then we're hearing slamming, like, because we had a patio door that leads to the beach. So we had, like, when I tell you that this door was slamming, like, almost every 2 or 3 seconds, I was like, yo, what the fuck? But I was trying to ignore it, right? So I'm sleeping, whatever. All I hear is Sally on the phone with her man. Okay, whatever, she's up. But I'm still fucking exhausted, and I'm still sick as shit and not feeling well. So like I'm trying to sleep, whatever. And then at this point, she hangs up with her man. She's going back to lay down, and I'm sitting here like you know when you're in that state of like half being awake, half being asleep. That was me. So then I'm like, all I hear is, can you fucking stop that shit? Because the slamming just kept going. Sally was not having that shit. She said, fuck that. Fuck whatever the fuck y'all got going on. I'm trying to fucking sleep and you're slamming shit. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? And then my best friend comes in. And she's like, hey, like, I just want to let y'all know that, like, Haley, she brought somebody back, whatever. Like, they're on the beach right now. Like, sorry for, like, the door opening and slamming. Like, I know that we agreed that no men in here, but, like, he just really had to pee real quick. And I was like, no, it's fine, whatever. And then here comes Haley busting through the door. She was the one, well, I don't know if it was both of them or one of them, but that time, I feel like that last time that it slammed, it would definitely have been her. So, freaking, she busts through the door. She's like, Anna, like, please tell me you love me. Please, I need your help. And I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking this is like a real crisis. Wrong. It was not a real crisis. It was just her wanting to get do in my vehicle. Because we all drove there in my car. So she's like, it's this man's birthday. Like, you know, he was already doing the damn thing. And like, I want to give him, you know, the devil's tango for his birthday. And I'm like, at this point, I'm low-key still half asleep. I'm still trying to think about everything that's been said to me by my best friend. And then now here comes Haley talking about can I use your car to go, you know, do the devil's tango in your car? And I'm like, at this point, whatever, fine. But no, this is where I'm like, what? Because at first, what she said before that, which I just now remembered, she's like, do you guys think that it'll be okay if y'all leave the room? She wanted me, Sally, and my best friend to all get up at fucking 2 a.m. to go sit in the car while she did the thing. And mind you, what's so insane about the story, right? And mind you, this is probably have to be multiple parts because this is like a 5-day trip, and this is only day like 1.5 of what the fuck we experienced on this trip. But her mom was the one to tell us all that we had to stick together. There was no like venturing off on your own. There was no having boys in the room. There was none of that. And already night one, girl, you're already bringing men back? You're already like disappearing like on the beach with this man and leaving my best friend like by herself? Like, okay, like, and then we all are sitting, like me, Sally, and my best friend were all sitting down kumbayaing, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is she so thirsty for that man, like, right now? Low-key, because, like, that was, like, a little bit a lot. And, like, even Sally was like, yeah, what the fuck? You think I'm gonna fucking get up and go sit in the car at 2 in the fucking morning? Are you fucking psycho? And then we find out that fucking Haley stole that guy from my best friend. That he came over to my best friend, started talking to her, buying her drinks, whatever. And then out of nowhere, here she comes and like basically starts stealing him away. But like my best friend's not on that type of shit. Like, I'm not about to fight a man. I just met this man. I'm not about to do this competition with you. You can have him. Type shit. And I was like, that's fucking weird as fuck. Like, why the fuck would she do that? Like, and we were all looking at her sideways like, why would she even do that? That's so like weird. Like, why? Right? So then we go to bed, we wake up next day, right? Everything's fine, chill, whatever. We're all having a good time. And we decide to go to the beach. We decide to tell Haley, like, yo, just like beware, like don't overburn yourself. Like, I understand that you want to get tan, but remember, Pauly D is gonna be in the sun. Like where we were at, like it was all on the beach. Like our beach was in our backyard. Like that's the type of thing that we, like the type of hotel that we were at. So like we told her, like, Pauly D's tomorrow. Like, I need you to not get sunburnt because you're going to be in an immense amount of pain if you're trying to not get sunburnt. And then we're going to be standing in the sun for like 5 hours to see Pauly D, right? She doesn't listen to anything that we said. She proceeds to burn. So now we're trying to figure out, you know, she's like in pain or whatever. But at this point, me and Sally haven't been out yet. So we decide we want to go out. And also, let me backtrack a little bit, because earlier in the day, we met this cool guy, and like him and my best friend were really hitting it off. But like I could tell that like Haley kept trying to like be that one to be like, oh yeah, but look at this, and oh, like when like they would have conversations, and like And it was just like, why are you being so weird? Like, why are you like trying to prove yourself to this guy that didn't even come up to you, came up to my best friend and tried to talk to her? So like they're hitting it off great, but like now this girl's having a sourpuss attitude because now she feels aggravated because the guy from last night like basically ghosted her because she kept trying to like hit him up and like meet up with him, and then now she's trying to like basically get at the guy that likes my best friend. And we're all looking at her like, because mind you, this guy is nothing like her type. Like her actual type, nowhere near close to in proximity. But y'all, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to come back for a part 2 because I'm literally running out of time. But I'll just say this last thing. What's about to come? That's all I can say. Till part 2 coming next. Okay, part 2 to why I don't go out on girls trips with people I've never been on girls trips with before. All right, so now at this point, everyone is low-key looking at Haley sideways because she's just acting, like her behavior is now being weird because now she's mad about the fact that this guy from last night that she was trying to do a devil's tango with is like not really like responding to her because she's trying to like hit him up because everybody that we saw there like was also all going to see Pauly D. So like they were just like maybe 2 hotels over from our hotel. So like she just kept saying, hey, I want to see you, whatever, and he kept like basically kind of dodging her because clearly he just wanted to hit it and quit it. And since he couldn't get the hit it, on to the next, you know what I mean? But like she just couldn't fathom why he wasn't really talking to her, or like why he's being like that. And I'm like, girl, you just met him, like who cares? Fuck him. And mind you, she had a whole dude at home that she was talking to. Don't even get me into that story. But anyway, so at this point, me, Sally, and Haley decided to go out because at this point my best friend, she's really not feeling well, but the guy that she met, he's like around and he wants to like chill with her, so he decides to chill with her. Now mind you, she tells us in advance that he's coming and asks our permission if like it's okay if he comes while we're gone and like let me know when y'all are back because like I'm really feeling this guy, whatever. And I'm really like, all right, cool, chill, whatever. When I tell you that Haley had the most sourpuss attitude after that, because I don't know if it was because like we were more like susceptible to being like, okay, like you could have him like over if you wanted to have him over, but it's like it makes sense. We're all going out to the club. You're not going. You're gonna have this guy come over. Like, so if you want to do the devil's tango while we're gone, like that's the perfect time. We're gonna be out and about. What she was trying to do was try to wake us all up at the fucking crack of ass and have us all wait outside. Like, hello, have some consideration. This is not just your room. That you're sharing this room with 3 other girls. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in this scenario for my best friend, it made sense. Me, Haley, and Sally were all going to the club. We hadn't gone out yet. She wasn't feeling well. She was going to stay in. So that's fine. And she didn't want to be left by herself. You know what I mean? Cool. So we're going, me, Sally, and Haley, we all go to the club, right? Everything's all chill. We're fine, whatever. But, like, Haley just won't let go. Like, won't stop harping on this whole, like, you know, my best friend and this guy that she's with. And like she's probably, and they're talking about how she probably doesn't have a headache, she probably is fine, like I don't understand why she just couldn't come out with us, like that, like just kind of being a hater. And I'm like, but like so what? Like I'm just sitting here, I'm like, me and Sally look at each other like, okay. And like we're trying to have a good time, but like here she is like kind of being annoying. And then on top of that, because she was so aggravated, she also left us and we had no clue where to go to how to get to the club because they had gone last night and we didn't go out the night prior. So like we're trying to like meet up with her and like trying to find her and like we keep losing her, right? So me and Sally, you know, we're just kind of like staying with each other because also we're the shortest in the group. We're the 2 shortest ones because Haley and my best friend, they're taller. Granted, they're not that much taller, but they're taller than both of us, like both of us, you know? So we're just like kind of chilling, whatever. We're kind of sitting in the back. So then these 2 guys come over and they want to start dancing with us. One of the guys was really, really cool, you know, but the other one was so stupidly drunk. Like he was literally falling on Sally. Like he was like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like, doing the utmost. And we're just looking at them like, and mind you, I didn't know this because at this point, like, I'm dancing with the guy, like his friend, and like we're having a good ass time. Like, you know, we're just chilling, dancing, whatever. You know, just being, you know, single ladies. I mean, granted, Sally wasn't single, but she was just trying to be nice because this guy was sloppy fucking drunk. You know what I mean? So I'm dancing with the best friend, and like this guy will not give up. Like, he is literally on Sally, literally throwing his. Mind you, we're 5 feet. Like 5'1" on a good day. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, hold on. So at this point now, you know, we're like, I guess Sally's trying to signal Haley. Cause like, she's low-key nowhere to be found. And then she sees her and she's like trying to like signal her like, hey, I need your help. I need your help. And like, she didn't want to get my attention because she saw how fun I was having with the guy I was dancing with. So she was trying to like just be like discreet and also not make the guy upset. Cause he's also belligerent. He's drunk right now. You know, we don't know this man. He could, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's like twice our size. You know, you don't know if we're in a fucking place we've never been before. You know what I mean? And we're fucking 19, you know? So this girl proceeds to tell Sally to keep dancing with him because he's gonna get us free drinks. Who cares? Mind you, I didn't know this because like I said, she was trying not to get my attention because she saw how much fun I was having and she didn't want to be like that. But she saw that Haley was around. She wanted Haley to like help her out of the situation. And she just was like, no, like, keep dancing with him so we can get free drinks. Bitch, are you fucking dumb? Like, I had to take my glasses off because, bitch, what? Like, I'm sorry, I'm also blind, so gotta put these back on. But, like, hello? Like, so at this point, finally, Haley's disappeared altogether. At this point, like, Sally's trying to be nice and dance with this guy, you know, trying to give him the time, like, trying to, like, be nice. I'm dancing with the guy that I'm dancing with, like, his friend, and we're all having a good time. And then Sally had, like, to try to get out of the situation, Sally's like, I need to go to the bathroom. Will you come with me? And I was like, yeah, I got you. So then we basically venture out to try to freaking go to the bathroom. And then, you know, basically we disappear on them, which I felt kind of bad at, like, in hindsight, because, like, I literally never saw that dude again. Never saw that man again. But it's okay. I'm married to my husband now, so it really don't fucking matter because my husband is a dime. Anywho, so we're going to the bathroom. We're almost getting trampled on. Like, Sally's almost fighting bitches because they keep stepping on us because, like I said, we're fucking short and they're just being hella rude. And like, Haley's nowhere to be found. We're calling her phone. We're trying to figure out where the fuck this girl is at. Can't find this girl nowhere. Finally, we find a booth. After going to the bathroom, we find a little booth that wasn't super crowded, and we sat down, and we just waited for her to show up. She showed up, and she's like, oh my God, like, I saw the guy, and like, you think I should tell him that he's stupid? Like, and I'm looking at her like, what the actual fuck? Like, you literally left us, literally threw us to the wolves. And you're asking us right now, like, we give a fuck about this stupid man you met for 2 seconds at the club yesterday night, whether you should curse him out because he doesn't want to respond to you. I'm sorry. Am I just tweaking? And like, please let me know in the comments, because am I crazy? Like, are we dumb? Like, is there something that we're missing here that just like, that's just not adding up, right? So like, we end up going back to the hotel. At this point, we call, you know, my best friend to figure out whether or not, you know, she's, you know, done doing the do, and like that they're decent and that we're coming back. She's like, oh yeah, like, give me like 5 more minutes. And we're like, okay, cool, girl. And at this point, we're hungry. And I don't know, this whole trip, we low-key ate, like, Taco Bell. Don't ask me why. Like, we had a whole thing where, like, we just kept talking about Crunch Wraps and, like, a whole bunch of other shit. Anyway, but, so we decided to go to Taco Bell. We're in Taco Bell. We're whatever. And at this point, Sally literally chokes on water and starts throwing up out the fucking window. And Haley's like, ooh, ew, 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 ew. And I'm like, bro. Like, and it's not her fault. Like, literally, she was choking on water. Like, she literally threw up her water. It wasn't even like she was, like, sick or nothing like that. So, like, she throws up her water. She's literally sitting up. We're sitting outside the Taco Bell parking lot. Her literally vomiting. And, like, Haley's, like, jumping literally in the back seat. Like, in the trunk. Like, ew, I can't. I'm going to throw up myself. I'm like, it's not even that big of a deal. So, I had to get in the driver's seat. You know, drive, whatever. And then we get back to the hotel, and like, you know, now everybody's all chill, whatever. At this point, we're all pumped because tomorrow is Pauly D. We're like, yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait to finally see the fresh to death, the Guido that, just Pauly D. That's all I can say. It's Pauly fucking D, right? So at this point, the day Pauly D comes. And mind you, like I told y'all, she burnt herself. So we're not even inside the venue where we need to be at. We're literally standing outside in a long ass fucking line. And she's already complaining about how she's in pain, how this and that. And we literally kept telling her, well, bitch, we told you to put on some fucking shit so you wouldn't be sitting here complaining about burning. Come back for part 3 because this is where this shit starts to get annoying. I'll see y'all in part 3. TikTok girlies. One of my TikTok girlies has summoned me to make part 4. So here I am making part 4 for y'all because you guys are you really guys like my story times. And if you guys want another story time about what happened between me and Sally's friendship, me and Haley's friendship, like there's a whole nother story time that's like ending off this thing, but this is just based on the trip. And I also have more story times on hella other shit. So if you guys want more story times, just let me fucking know. But back to the story. So at this point, I'm floored because I've never, mind you, we've all been friends since high school. Me and my best friend been friends since 8th grade. Like I told you guys that story time about my ex-best friend, my other ex-best friend. So she kind of already knows our life story. We've all grown up together, you know what I mean, since freshman year. So it really flabbergasted me that this bitch is really talking about money as if we're poor. And she just keeps bringing up my best friend, and I'm like, yo, why does she keep fucking doing that shit? It's pissing me off now. So I call my bestie because she wasn't there, and she was just too much in shambles to go anywhere. And I'm calling her and telling her all this, bro, what the fuck is going on? She's over here just doing the most. She keeps talking about this whole money thing and how she has more money than us, whatever. And she's like, girl, I've been trying to tell you this, but I am stubborn sometimes. My friends be telling me things, and sometimes I be too stubborn to listen and to really see the big picture. Because like I said, she had never caused any problems before this. We've actually had a really cool friendship. It wasn't nothing crazy. But this trip really made me change my outlook on her because I was just I never thought that she was the type of person to shit on somebody else for having less than, you know what I mean? But yeah, she was doing it the entire trip for all of us, in different ways, making little digs, but it was more so all of it was at my best friend, right? So at this point, Sally's upset because she feels like a really good moment that was supposed to happen with her getting her tattoo was taken away from her by Haley going to get another tattoo, right? And then she's calling her man because she's like, bitch, I'm over it. I just need to talk to my man because I'm so homesick. I want to go home at this point. Everyone was just ready to go home. And everyone was just over Haley's shit, excuse me. So at this point, we're getting pizza, and then my best friend calls me, and she's like, hey, I just heard something about, schools getting closed. I think you should kind of call your school or whatever. And I was like, okay. But, I didn't think nothing of it, right? Here comes, I don't know if it was Sally's mom or Haley's mom. I really don't fucking know. Somebody got a phone call that was just basically saying that COVID is really going at sky high. And they're thinking of possibly shutting shit down. Now I'm really freaking out because, mind you, I came here from Georgia. I still have all of my shit in the dorms in my college. My best friend, same shit. So I'm low-key freaking out because I'm like, bro, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get up there. And if they have a mandatory my brain was going 1,000 miles a minute of what the fuck I need to do. I need to call my mom. I need to figure this out. I need to call the school. Not even 5 seconds after that, the school calls. The automated fucking voice message saying that we have to come and get our stuff from the dorms and that they're shutting the school fucking down because of COVID. I start losing my ever-loving mind because I'm just no, I really have to, I start doing investigating because I'm like, no, this isn't real. This isn't happening. Knowing damn well it was really happening. But it's not the point here. So at this point, like, I'm trying to like tell my best friend everything. Haley and Sally are like trying to calm me down, but more so Sally than anything. And then Haley is like holding my phone, I believe, while I'm on the phone with my best friend, and we're on our way back from getting pizza. So she just kept interrupting me because I kept trying to talk and whatever, and like my best friend doesn't like that. She feels like that's fucking annoying. Don't interrupt somebody when they're in the middle of talking. Like, let them fucking finish and then say like, what you have to say. So my best friend low-key yells at her, like, but I'm used to it. Look, she yells, she talks, she's very passionate about certain things, so she comes off like as if she's being a bitch or like loud and obnoxious, and really she's not trying to be like that whatsoever, right? So when she said it, we, like, me and Sally know this, like, and so does Haley, so it's just like we all know this, so like me and Sally are not phased. But it's just like, you would have thought that my best friend said to Haley that like she fucking ran over her cat or something. So now at this point she's going hush mouth because basically my best friend kind of tells her to shut up. So now we're like, it's hella awkward. We get back into the room. We're trying to figure out whether we're going to this party for the last night before we check out. And then, you know, but me and Sally were kind of like still on the fence about it, but we kind of did want to go. Like, we just kept going back and forth about it, right? So then here comes my best friend asking Haley, "Hey, do you want to go? Like, are you down to go with me?" You would have thought the fucking world ended, or fucking, like, I don't know. She just fucking snapped. She said, "Don't fucking talk to me." Oh, we're looking at her like. And even my best friend's like, what the fuck? What the fuck did I do to you? Here she goes trying to run away from the situation, not really talk. She's just yelling, and then she slams the door. Or like, no, she just walks out. Sally runs after her because, mind you, like we said, we're trying to respect her mother. We don't go run off by ourselves. She was gone for so fucking long, we literally called her, like, my best friend called our other best friend to tell her all the tea because we were so, like, are we crazy? Like, hello? Like, what the fuck? Come to find out that this whole trip, she had been talking shit about us to her mother in private. That day that she was going to Pauly D, she was calling her mom trying to book herself a bus ticket or, like, a plane ticket back to Tampa and leaving us three out there. That she was over it, that she was tired of us, like, that she was upset because she was tired of the wishy-washiness from my best friend. And we're looking at her like, wishy-washiness? But you're the one who's fucking mad over dick. And then also trying to steal my bestie's nude. Not even really, like, man. It was just, like, her little spring break fling. Like, huh? So I was so confused. So at this point, she finally, like I want to say, like, maybe 2 hours go by. Sally came back after, like, 30 minutes or so. But, like, for 2 hours now, she was gone. And we're just trying to, like, sit here figuring out what the fuck to do. She's now coming. She finally comes back in the room, but slams the door into the bathroom and, like, is literally calling her mom to talk shit like we don't fucking hear her. So we're just like, fuck it. We're going to go to the club because we're fucking pissed off at her. And we're not about to be sitting in the same room with her. We literally couldn't even go because she took so fucking long with everything that went on that day that we missed the entry for 18 plus because after that it's 21 and up. So 11 o'clock was the cutoff time for when, like, 18-year-olds could get in. So we basically sat in the fucking car for half the night until we almost went to bed, until about damn near bedtime, until, like, almost 2 in the fucking morning. Then we drove home. Oh, bitch, that was a whole thing too. She was just being hella weird, and then she wanted to pretend like shit didn't happen. And then we're sitting here looking at her like, I'm so lost. Mind you, I suffer from migraines, and on top of that, so does my best friend. And Sally was also, like, also to preface, Sally was sick at the same time I was. So we both were still getting over a cold. So we And I had just gotten into a car accident before, like, going to college. So I was low-key terrified of driving at that point in time. And in Georgia, I didn't drive because my car had been totaled out. So we're driving. I get a migraine like 3 hours into the trip. I literally can't. I start to not being able to see. This bitch is calling her mom when we all fall asleep talking shit. Again! And talking about how that she has to freaking do all this shit by herself and that she had to do the whole drive and they need to wake up and da-da-da. I can't even take my birth control on time because I now have to drive the last literally 2 hours. After that, we all didn't talk to her for a minute. If y'all want to know what happened after that, let me know. But that's the story time of why I don't fucking go on trips with bitches I don't know. I don't like. I mean, what? This is why I don't.
Story time on why I don't play with who's on the invite list when it comes to planning out-of-town trips. So the year was 2020. It was November. We were fresh on campus, and I think it was like during COVID, so like we were on lockdown, so classes were online. So I was living with two close friends. We'll call one Pink, and we'll call the other one America. One random night, America, I remember she was at home, so me and Pink were just in the apartment, and like we were just bored. So I think that we decided to just hang out for a little bit, and we decided to plan an out-of-town trip. We decided to go to Atlanta. So in the midst of us planning, we decided that of course we were going to invite America, but I came up with the idea to invite Pink's external friend, who was her best friend from home, and we'll call her Purple for this story. A little bit of backstory. Purple didn't go to school with us, but like, she did come and hang out with us on like 2 occasions, with the most recent occasion being 2 weeks before Pink and I decided to plan this trip. So once we finished planning the trip, like we sent the girls the information, both girls were on board, so like everything got paid for, whatever. Fast forward, it's time for the trip. All the girls are excited. We all in the group chat like, oh my God, we can't wait to hang out, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, we are on the plane. I think that the two best friends, so Pink and Purple, I think that they rode together. Remember, Pink is the roommate with me in America, and then me in America, we also flew together. So we all ended up meeting up in Atlanta's airport, and I think we all met like either while walking to baggage claim, and I remember we all got our bags, and literally in the midst of us getting our bags, like out of nowhere, Purple started like getting little attitudes, which didn't make sense to me, but I was just like, okay, maybe she's just irritated from the flight. So I remember Pink asking her best friend, she was like, what's wrong? And I remember her being like, nothing. But it wasn't like a genuine, like, oh, nothing's wrong, like, I'm just quiet right now. It was like a nothing, like she was irritated. So I remember me and America were kind of looking at each other like, okay, like, you just kind of threw the vibe out because we was just all happy. Like, how did you just get upset in the span of like 2 to 3 minutes? Like, it just didn't make sense. But we ignored it. We get outside of baggage claim, so we're calling our Uber. And in the midst of us calling our Uber, like, Purple was off to the side, like on her phone, texting, doing whatever, while the rest of us were like, okay, cool, like, we're going to get this Uber and we're going to go and get us a zip car. So we decided to Uber to the zip car location. And once we got to the zip car location, like, we were literally trying to figure out how to get the car, like, how would we pay for it? Like, we were truly struggling. And it was like a bit of a process to where, okay, I could see why somebody would get upset. But it was more so like, okay, let's figure this out. Therefore, if we do get the zip car, we won't have to Uber everywhere. As America, Pink, and I are like talking about it, trying to figure it out, and like, okay, cool, well, maybe this not going to work out. Literally out of nowhere, Purple just start like spazzing off on the corner to herself. And she just like, this shit irritated me, like, I don't want to be here, like, I'm getting irritated, like, I'm ready to go, like, what's taking so long, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at Pink, and I'm like, what's wrong with your friend? And she literally fed her off, like, ignore her, like, like, just whatever, like, don't even pay no attention to her. So I'm like, okay, cool, because I could care less anyway, but, like, just to make sure somebody is comfortable and, like, everything is cool, like, I was just gonna ask. Left it alone. So we end up getting in the Uber. We end up saying, forget the zip card. We end up going to the Airbnb that we had booked. So we get to the Airbnb, and literally, y'all, we was only in the Airbnb for a good maybe 5-10 minutes. Not even a full 10 minutes. All I know is like Purple on the phone. And I guess Purple was on the phone with one of her little friends from Chicago. And like her friend was like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all in the Airbnb, like, y'all should be out. Like, what are y'all doing? Y'all being boring. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, okay. I try to hold my tongue when it comes to other people's friends, especially when, like, you know, I'm just like, okay, cool, like, maybe that's just how she get down, like, you know, it's those group of people who be like so rah-rah and fast to go, fast on the move, but like, that's not me, and that's not any of our vibe in the group, not even her best friend at the time. So I'm just like, okay, girl, like, whatever. I'm still brushing it off, though. But also, I can see that America's getting irritated, and Pink is also side on her, like, girl, like, tell your friend we literally just got here. And he was like, yeah, I know y'all just got here, but, like, damn, do something, whatever. So he ends up off the phone, so we all decide that we're hungry. So we end up hitting up OLG. I don't remember much of what happened on the car ride to OLG, but what I do remember is that, like, once we got in there, we sat down, we sat in, like, the little basement part, we ordered our food, and, like, we're all talking and having conversation, like, kikiing and everything like that, and Purple's kind of, like, standoffish, like, she's not talking to us, like, barely paying attention to us, on her phone the whole time, eating her food, like, she would look up here and there, kind of, sort of, not really too engaged with us, but, like, it was kind of like a, yeah, like, that type of thing. When you already see that somebody's not interested in whatever it is that y'all talking about, you're not finna keep fishing to pull them into the conversation. And I feel like that was more so where America and I were. We were like, okay, like, this is your friend. Like, granted, like, I was down to invite her, but it's just like, you kind of not making this experience enjoyable for everybody if you gonna, like, be acting weird like that. So we pushed her to the side, whatever, not paying attention to you. We end up paying our bill. We end up leaving. We call another Uber. So when we get in the Uber, I guess what she was doing on her phone was looking for plans for while we were down there, because imagine we were only staying for a couple of days. I think it was like 3 days we were there, and we left on like that 4th day. So basically, we get in the Uber. She's on the phone with the same dude who she was on the phone on the phone call with at the Airbnb when we first got there, and literally all you hear is him just like, "So what y'all doing now?" And she just like, "No, I skipped the part." So we get in the Uber, and all you literally hear is like her being like, "Oh, y'all," like, while she on her phone, she like, "Oh, y'all, like, I see that such and such rapper having like this little party, and like my cousin know him, and so like my cousin can get us in his section and have us on the stage with him, and blah blah blah. It's gonna be at this club at this time. Like, y'all, we should go or whatever." So me, America, and Pink, if I'm being honest, like, we was all like, I don't know, because it's like, you saying it's your cousin, but yet when we all like did the little discussion of like, do we know people in Atlanta? You was like, no. So you're just like, okay, cool, noted. And then like, you want us to be in this rapper section and stuff like that. It's like, is that something that we really want to do? Mind y'all, this rapper literally night. But before we even knew what was happening at that point, we was just like, nah, like, we not really feeling it like that. Like, we didn't come here to be on like no section hopping type of vibe. Like, you know, like, we came here to have fun, but like not at the expense of somebody else. So I guess she didn't like what we were putting down. And really, I think it was Pink doing more so of the talking, because she already knew like what me and America wanted to do while there or whatever. So she literally picked up the phone, called this friend that she was on the phone with before we even left to go to eat. And she like, man, they being boring. Like, they being boring as hell. Like, like, they not trying to do nothing. Like, we just ate, and like, they not saying like what we gonna be doing next, blah blah blah. Imagine she sent this in front of all of us. And me, I'm the type of person where like, I don't care about what nobody's saying. Like, as long as you don't say nothing that's a direct attack towards me, or you don't say nothing that'll make me be like, okay, now I'm gonna curse you out. Like, I'll let you slide with whatever it is that you're saying, because I'm just like, girl, I really don't care. And plus, you're not even my friend. Like, if anything, I would allow your best friend to say something to you, you know? Like, I'm not just gonna jump out and curse you out because, you know, I'm gonna just leave it up to your best friend. So, like, while she's saying this and stuff like that, I do remember Pink intervening and being like, girl, like, you're doing way too much. And then she told the boy that she was on the phone with, she was like, yeah, because, like, she not even talking to me. Like, she being weird. She being weird as hell. Like, she's only talking to her friends. Mind y'all, we were literally trying to include this girl in the conversation at the restaurant, but she was the one who was ignoring us. Go to part 2. After that, we ended up going back to the Airbnb. Once we got to the Airbnb, we all decided that we wanted to go to this like little hookah lounge or whatever. So we all changed, ended up heading over to the place. But before we ended up leaving, Purple was like, oh, I have this friend, y'all. Like, she has a car. Like, you know, she willing to like take us wherever we want to go tonight. Like, okay, cool. Like, we don't mind. Like, let's do it. And mind you, the friend had just moved down there, and I guess like she wanted to hang with us because she didn't have no plans. That's what I believe was the whole point of her being invited in the first place. So he was like, you kind of pushing it a little bit, if I'm being honest, but we'll give it a try, whatever. Like, we don't got nothing to lose at this point. So the girl comes, she picks us up, and we were driving around. Like, the vibes were good. Like, everything was cool. What I can say is that night, I don't remember Purple, like, doing the most after the whole OLG, like, thing. What happened in the Uber after that. I don't know if her and Pink had a talk or whatever the case was, but like she was cool, she was calm. We went to the hookah lounge, we had a very good time. Now on to day two. Day two had a lot, so please bear with me, and this is where it's gonna get probably long. So day two, we ended up going to like doing like the MLK house tour, and then from like doing his house tour, we ended up going to the Harrods that they had down there in Atlanta at the time. So I remember us going to get our food. Everything was cool. Everything was straight. And then we were like, okay, y'all, let's go get tattoos. So we ended up going to get tattoos. And I guess Purple was cool because, like, mind y'all, she liked the type of girl that liked to be up and up and up, doing something all the time. Evidently, what I got from it. So we went to get our tattoos. After we got our tattoos, y'all, that was when her mood started to shift again out of nowhere. We had called our Uber. And I remember it was getting dark outside at this time. So we called our Uber. We asked him could he take us to Zaxby's because we were hungry at that point or whatever. So we ended up going to Zaxby's. While in the Zaxby's line, I remember Pink being like, my phone not charged. Like, I need to charge my phone since we probably not finna stop back at the Airbnb. So I remember Purple was sitting in the front seat, and Purple was like, well, my phone's on a charger, you not finna use it. So Pink was like, okay, what percentage your phone on? And I think Purple said something along the lines like either it don't matter or something, but basically whatever it was like a slick little remark, and she was not trying to give up that charger. So I remember me and America, again, like America was like me, like America was like, I'm not gonna say nothing to her friend solely off the fact I don't want us to fall out with Pink, because it's like your friend, like she's really doing too much, and we know that you can control somebody's behavior, but it's just like you need to check this bitch before we have to. So me and her just give each other that look, we like, girl, and then we looking at Pink like, you finna say something to her, like you gonna get her, or you gonna get her? But at that point, like, I could tell that Pink was truly over it. Like, I think she said fuck the charger, and she was just like, it is what it is at this point. Oh yeah, and Pink was like, well, I'm gonna need it because I know you're gonna want me to take your pictures. And Purple was like, nah, it's cool, like, don't even worry about it. Funny thing is, we literally end up going to the Trap Museum, was really popular at that time. So we get out, we go in and everything like that, like we walking around, like seeing how everything is. And Purple, again, her attitude, like she has the worst attitude ever. So these two people approached us, like they were having a little conversation or whatever the case was, and they was just like, oh, like, you know, what do you do? And she was like, oh, I'm a rapper, blah, 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 blah. And then those names like, oh, that's cool, like you should come to the studio, blase, blase. She started to be like real dismissive, which granted, you're not obligated to talk to anybody, but I'm just like one of those people where it's like, if people not doing nothing to you to like harm you or like, you know, bother you for real, it's like you don't have to be rude, like, in my opinion. So she did that, whatever. So then she asked America first, could America take her pictures? And America was like, no, I'm finna take my own pictures. So I think that I ended up taking America's pictures. So then she went and asked Pink, like, can you take my pictures? And Pink was like, no, my phone's literally dead. Like, I asked you, could I use the charger? And you told me, no, I'm not taking your pictures. Mind you, America already upset from what happened in the Zaxby line when it came to that charger and how that girl was talking to her. Mind y'all, I might be cutting some parts, but when I tell y'all, for them to be best friends, Miss Purple was definitely overly trying to, like, do her big one when it came to Pink. And, like, that was just throwing me for a loop. Because I'm like, if this your best friend, there's no way you should be talking to her crazy in front of a group of girls that you acting like you don't know, which, granted, you haven't known us for that long, but it's just like, you shouldn't be overly doing this. Like, if you had a real issue, you could have pulled your friend to the side and, like, had a conversation with her. She told her she wasn't taking the pictures, and that was when Purple's attitude changed. Like, she started, like, just blurting weird stuff. She was like, this why you don't mix friend groups, like, bitches is weird, like, you're trying to overly show out for your friends, you're trying to act like you don't want to take my pictures, blah, 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 blah. I would have took your pictures like it was nothing, blah, blah, blah. Like, she literally going off. But mind y'all, she not saying this directly to Pink. I think Pink was over with America. So she was saying this while standing next to me, and I'm just like, girl, your attitude is just like, it's not that deep. Like, you could have even asked me to take the picture. So I'm like, the fact that I'm standing next to you and you didn't ask me to take the picture, which I would have took the picture for you, but the fact that you choose to go off on your best friend and like overly do the most of her saying she's not going to take your pictures when you see somebody else that's next to you that you know that you could ask to take your pictures, is giving you just one reason to be upset with this girl at this point. So we end up leaving the Trap Museum. And we walking down the street to go and meet up with our ride, because I think he had us meet him like a block over on a corner or something like that. Mind y'all, she's walking like far ahead. Like, we probably in the middle of the block. She all the way at the edge of the block. Like, she's just not fucking with all of us at that point. We get in the Uber, y'all. And when I say, like, shit just shifted for everybody. When I say the tension in that Uber back to the Airbnb was so thick, like, I feel like everybody was just over everything. Like, Everybody was irritated. Everybody truly, I feel like at that point, just wanted to go home. And I remember the whole time, like, Purple in the ride, like, Purple was just like, you weird. That's why you don't mix friend groups. Everybody not meant to mix. Like, this shit is weird, blah, blah, blah. And then Pink, like, bro, like, you saying this, like, you don't know them. You literally been around them. You've been to our dorm and apartment. So it's like, what is your issue? Like, you're the one acting weird because you're purposely excluding yourself. And then you get on the phone with your friends. You trying to make it like we're doing something to you. And really, you're the one that's causing this weird energy. Like, you're the one who bring it down the mood of the group, trying to make it like nobody messing with you. And it's like, they are. Like, people are trying. At that point, me and America, it was like a 3-row car. So me and America all the way in the back. And we just looking at each other. And we were texting each other on a slick side. And I think America texted me, was like, girl, I'm so over this. And I text her back and I'm like, no, like, for real, this shit is getting out of hand. Like, this is ridiculous at this point. Like, I really want Pink to say something and stand up for herself, because it's like, this girl is doing the most. Like, she's been trying to this whole trip. And I get Pink wanted to be the bigger person, because that was genuinely her friend. Like, they've known each other for years, like, since they were children. So I'm like, I totally get why you would tread lightly when it comes to your friend, because we never expect our friends to be treating us no type of weird way, especially around people that, like, we just met type of vibe. But child, all I know is after they were bickering with each other, it just went silent. We ended up getting out of the car. We make it to the door. And I guess this is where Purple felt like it was her time to shine and play. Go to part 3. And before we left the Airbnb to go to the Martin Luther King, like, museum or whatever, I literally had the key in my hand leaving out of the Airbnb, and I gave it to her to lock the door. So when she locked the door, she had put the key in her purse. Fast forward to the night after they finished arguing with each other after the trap museum and everything. We get back to the Airbnb, and the girls, America and Pink, were like, okay, y'all, where the key at? We need to open the door. I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh, Purple got it. So Purple walked up. She's like, what do I have? I don't have anything. And at that point, mind you, it was already tension built up in that Uber. So I'm literally standing there, and, like, I'm looking at her with a straight face. And truly, what was going through my mind was, it was gonna get crazy real quick on that porch, because I'm just like, at this point, you playing. Like, don't be sitting up here playing. Like, everybody already mad, everybody already irritated. Like, you not finna sit up here and make it like I have the key when you literally have the key. Like, now's not the time to be funny. Like, we mad, we tired, like, our energy's drained. Like, we don't have time for no games right now. So I'm literally like, bro, I gave you the key earlier, and I watched you put it in your purse. So how you finna sit up here and say that I have the key? And she was like, but I really don't have the key. I really don't have the key. And then she starts smirking. So I remember Pink and America both looking at me. America, she was over it. Like, America looked like she was in a daze. Like, she was just irritated. She was zoned out, and she was just like, this is getting irritating. And then Pink was like, just standing there. She was looking at the both of us like, so who the fuck got the key? Like, bro, I'm not playing. Like, I'm really, like, I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, bro, I'm not finna fucking play. You have that key. And then she's like, okay, I'm just playing. I do have a key. So she opened the door. Me and America went to our side of the house. Like, we didn't even care to socialize or anything at that point. Like, we were both irritated. I remember I went into America's room, and I was just like, bro, like, I can't take this shit no more. Like, I'm literally about to lose my mind. Like, this is too much for me. And she was literally on the same page. She was like, this is too much. Like, I'm getting tired of her friend. Like, I didn't expect for her to be acting like she don't like us when she been around us. And then if y'all saying, like, y'all all just hung out 2 weeks ago, like, what's her energy shifting for now? Out of nowhere, we just hear Pink on the phone with her mom. And she's just like, no, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, like, she's doing the most this trip. Like, she's making my friends feel as though, like, she don't like them, and she's being very weird to them for no reason or whatever. And I do remember her mom being on the phone, and she's just like, wait, y'all, slow down, like, what's going on? So out of nowhere, you just hear Purple being like, no, she's lying, like, she's being weird, she's the one that's showing out for her friends, she's trying to show out and act like she don't mess with me like that, like, she's sitting over there, she making it like I'm the weird one, and blah, 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 like, this whole trip, she been being weird and not acting like a best friend, she not being a good friend to me, and blah, 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 blah. So Pink, at that point, all we heard was Pink literally scream out loud and say, don't touch me, do not fucking touch me, don't touch my phone. So while me and America, we listening, we like, are they fighting? So when we heard that, we literally ran out of the room, and, like, we see the both of them in the living room, like, in each other's faces, with Pink still holding on the phone with her mom. And I remember her mom screaming, like, y'all calm down, like, y'all need to chill. Hung up from her mom. She was like, Mom, I gotta go. Because at that point, y'all, this is where you see, like, I don't know, but this is the point where you realize that, like, maybe Purple was never her friend for real all along. Like, Purple, like, at first she was coming like a concerned friend when, Pink's mom was on the phone. She was like, she being weird, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, that girl hung up that phone. When I tell y'all, Purple started spazzing, like, she was spazzing. She was like, bitch, you weird as fuck, blah, 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 blah. Like, you be acting weird, like you trying to show out in front of your motherfucking friends, bitch. Like, I know the real you. I know you for real. You know what I'll do to you. You know what I'll do to you. Like, you acting weird right now. Like, boo, boo, blah, etc., etc. Pink had enough. Like, she was just like, girl, you the one that's acting weird. So, like, they going back and forth, and somehow from the living room, it went to the kitchen. And as they were arguing, me and America, like, we were standing there, we were watching. But at that point, I think America got tired of standing up. I got tired of standing up. So America ended up sitting on the counter, and I ended up going to the hallway that led to their room, but I was standing in the doorway facing the kitchen. So, like, I was here. No, America was here. I was here. The girls were in the middle, but facing each other. So I'm just standing there leaning on the wall, arms crossed. I'm just like, bruh, like, y'all are doing, like, this is a lot. Like, this is insane. But again, I'm very proud that Pink is standing up for herself, because I'm like, this heifer done tried you this entire trip. So this little meltdown or whatever the case is, like, it's bound to happen. But I feel like me and America's role was to just stand there and make sure that Pink didn't get touched, because, like, it was getting really, really intense, really, really fast. I know is that Purple made it as though she was about to walk away. She was like, bitch, I'm not going to sit up here and argue with you, because you know what I do to you. You know what I do to you. I swear on my friend, like, I would do blah, 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 blah to you, blah, 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 blah. So she pretends that she's going to walk off. So I thought that she was walking away, like she was going to walk by me and just go down a hallway. She literally walked up to me and she was like, no, Tanaya, because, like, y'all friend is weird. She being weird as hell. I'm like, y'all, it's not that deep. Like, you mad at her for no reason. She like, no, because that bitch is weird. And she was like, and if I really wanted to be petty, bitch, I'll make you lose all of your friends right here, right now. Me and America was like, what? What? Girl, what you talking about? So me at that point, like, in my head, I was like, you being petty now, because at the end of the day, whatever she told you, like, you ain't got no reason to come and tell us, especially if it wasn't on your heart or mind to tell us in the first place. Like, and mind y'all, we already had an idea of what it was already about, because there was a period where all of us were upset with each other or whatever. So I'm like, whatever she told you, like, I'm sure we all told our best friends stuff. So it's nothing for you to be sitting up here and trying to be like, I'll make you lose all of your friends right here, right now. We just like, no, you're being spiteful and you're being weird. And I literally told her, like, I was like, I don't give a damn what she told you. Like, I could care less. We all told our best friends things. And she was like, no, but I'm just saying, like, she's weird, blah, blah, blah. So she made it as though she was walking in the room. I never turned around to see if she made it in the room. But I do remember her coming out, and Pink said something along the lines like, no, because she's acting crazy. Like, she's really tripping right now. That girl came out the room. I don't know what that girl heard or what she thought she heard, but she literally came out the room. She was like, oh, you want to go low? You want to go low, bitch? You want to go low? Got in her face. I'm talking about close. And I'm just like, and I think at that point, that was when my mouth dropped for her. I was like, I was shocked. I'm like, girl, ain't no way. Like, you really finna fight your friend over you being upset that she has friends outside of you that she genuinely does like? I'm like, girl, like, this is weird. So she ended up eventually, I was like, y'all, like, this is too much. And I think at that point, I walked up and I grabbed Pink and I just literally started, like, guiding her towards the other room. And I was like, forget about it. Like, don't even, just hang it up. Like, forget it. It ain't even that deep. Like, fuck it. You stood up for yourself. That's all that matters. By the time we got to the room, y'all, and I felt bad. I damn near shed a tear solely off the fact that, like, watching Pink cry and feel so hurt and betrayed of, like, her friend literally sitting up here threatening to put hands on her when she genuinely did nothing wrong. One thing about me, I'm very unbiased. Like, if Mrs. Girl did something wrong, I could genuinely be like, no, like, I can't see how she felt that way. But genuinely, I could not. And that's not me being, like, biased towards my friend, but, like, that's just me being genuine. Pink did nothing wrong that entire trip. The energy first got thrown up by her friend before more than 10 phrases were spoken. Like, she was the problem in this whole entire situation. So while we're in the room and Pink is crying, America's like, girl, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe that. And I remember I literally sat on the bed. I think America was frustrated. America was ready to fight at that point. And granted, I was too, but my major concern was to just make sure that she was okay, because it's like, I know she felt like probably very alone in that moment, and that wasn't what I wanted for her at all. So I wanted to let her know, like, I'm here for you. Like, whatever she just said out there about whatever could have been said about me, like, I'm not worried about that. I don't even care what you said. Like, my priority right now is to make sure that you're okay and you know that I got you. So I'm literally, like, holding her and just, like, speaking to her and just, like, filling her with words just to make her feel better. I'm like, you don't deserve that. Like, nobody deserves to be treated that way. Like, you know, I don't like how she got in your face and made it like she was going to fight you. Like, that's not your friend. Like, that's not your friend. And I won't be your friend if you ever decide to tolerate being around her ever again. Because I'm like, That's just inexcusable. You don't threaten to put your hands on your friend and then you swearing on somebody else's life that you would definitely go there, and you like threaten her like, you know what I'll do to you, you know what I'll do to you. I know I said this is my last part, but part whatever, I don't know. We finally get Pink to calm down, and she was just like, I can't believe that happened. And she was like, did I do something wrong? Like, what did I do wrong? We were like, you didn't do nothing wrong. Like, we watched the whole entire trip and we were waiting for you. If anything, you didn't do wrong enough. You should have been cursed her out the second that she got on you for absolutely no reason. But I understand why you decided to like tread lightly, because that is your best friend. Like, it all makes sense. So it's like, we not faulting you at all, but just know genuinely you did nothing wrong. So then, I don't know how it came up, but we got on the subject of the keys to the Airbnb. So that was when America was like, you should go get your stuff because I know you don't want to sleep over there. And she was like, yeah, but I don't want to go back in that room. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'll go get your stuff for you. And I'll also get the key from her because like, you're not going to have the key. Like, mind you, I think Pink's name was on the Airbnb. She volunteered to put her name on the Airbnb. So by right, like, she should be the one that holds the key, like not the girl that she just got into it with that's very unpredictable and been acting weird. So I'm like, I'll go get the key too, don't worry. So I go over to the other side of the house by myself, and she in there, of course, on the phone, yapping, giving a whole rundown. And y'all, I'm listening to her literally swap around like what actually just took place. And I'm just like, girl, I really started to just think that something was wrong at that point. So I was just like, okay, I know how to navigate with, a certain kind of person. So I was just like, where's the key? And she was like, I got it. And then I was like, okay, give it to me. And she was like, no. And like, she was being so sweet. Like, when I tell y'all that girl went from here to here, like, she was calm now, like that creepy calm. She was like, no, like, I'm about to go out. And I was just like, go out where? Like, we could open the door for you, but you're not finna leave the key and think that we finna stay in here with the doors unlocked asleep while you're out doing whatever it is that you're doing. Like, give us the key. And she was just like, but I'm gonna need it. What I'm gonna use? And I was like, well, you could call one of us if you need to get, whatever. And she was just like, I'm gonna just keep the key. Like, I'm gonna just keep the key. So at that point, I didn't give a damn about nothing she was talking about. I started to go through the room to try to find the key. I think the girl hid the key in her pocket or in her purse or something like that, which granted, she knew I wasn't gonna touch nobody's purse. So I ended up grabbing Pink's stuff, and I was just like, fuck this. I'm not finna keep playing with you. So I went back to the other room, and I was like, yeah, she over there playing, like, she not up in the key. She got it somewhere hidden, like, I'm not finna play her game, but here's your stuff or whatever. So the night goes on, y'all, and why the second we all fell asleep, imagine we was up for a while. I don't think we went to sleep till like 2, 3 a.m. type vibe. Like, we were just up all talking in America's room. And she literally snuck out the second that we went to sleep, y'all. So we wake up, and we're like, okay, we about to go to the Coca-Cola Museum. Where is the key to the Airbnb? We walking around the Airbnb, we don't see her, we don't see the key nowhere. So I'm like, you need to call her and figure out where the key is. Mind you, America and I didn't even have her number. But yeah, we was like, just call her and see, like, did she take the key or maybe with all of our valuables in here to go somewhere? And she's literally like, she playing. So they ended up calling her. I don't remember if she answered or not, but I do remember, like, she was still playing that game of, like, she don't want to tell us where the key at or whatever. So literally, I think that was when Pink called her mom again, started to debrief her mom on how everything went left and what happened. And mom was like, where's the key? Like, what does she do with the key? And we don't know. So out of nowhere, I think that Pink texted her and she was like, girl, where the key at? Out of nowhere, like, Purple sent this long paragraph, basically like gaslighting Pink really, really bad. And I remember, like, in the message, she was like, you made me do that to you. Why would you make me do that to you? All you had to do was just be cool for the trip. You didn't have to be weird. All you had to do was make sure I was included. Like, you made me do that to you, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's literally making it as though, like, girl, you brought that on yourself. Like, you deserved it because you made me do that. Like, she wasn't taking any accountability of the situation. And it's like, what do you expect when you're dealing with a certain type of person? It's just like, okay, whatever, you could have it. And I remember all Pink cared about, she didn't care about nothing else that was being said, but she was just like, girl, give me the key. Like, I'm not about to keep playing with you. Like, I just want my key. I think that was when Pink's mom got tired and she was just like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to call her and I'm going to figure out where the key at. So she called the girl, y'all. Mind you, nobody could for real get a hold of her until we left the Airbnb. We didn't have a choice but to leave our stuff in there unlocked. So at that point, America shut down. Like, she was pissed. Like, she honestly didn't care to talk to nobody that last day, which granted, understood, like, whatever. So Purple's mom calls back while we're literally like walking through the Coca-Cola Museum. I think we were sampling pops at that point. And she was like, she said she left the key at the Airbnb. And we were like, no, she didn't. We literally looked all through the Airbnb. And then Pink's mom's like, no, she said she left it in the Airbnb in a drawer in the kitchen. Why would you put the key in a drawer when all you had to do was give me the key when I walked in there? Like, what was the point of you doing that? I'm just like, now you playing games and you just trying to be funny. And granted, like, it should have went different when I went in there and got that key from her, because I truly shouldn't have left without getting that key. So we literally are out and we like, now we got to rush back to the Airbnb to freaking lock the door. But at this point, I think we was to go grab something to eat, and then we went back. So we end up getting back to the Airbnb. We open the drawer. Lo and behold, it's the key, y'all. When I tell y'all that last day of the trip, that girl disappeared. She did not show back up to that Airbnb. And I don't even remember what happened to her stuff. I don't know if she snuck out in the middle of the night with her stuff, or if she snuck back there while we were out and she did what she did. You know, she grabbed her stuff, then tried to put the key in the drawer to make it like she never took it in the first place. But that was just that. And then, y'all, like, we were all just so exhausted. Like, she was blowing up Pink phone the whole day. Then we saw her making, like, little posts on Facebook, like, I need to redo Atlanta with the right people, blah, 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 as if we were the ones who caused her any type of, like, issues or hiccups. Like, you were the villain this whole time. You were the issue. But we ignored her ass again, because just, like, sometimes you just got to know the type of people that you're dealing with. Like, them the type of people that just thrive off of attention and just want somebody to give them any type of feedback. Like, you not getting that up off me. I don't even care no more. Like, whatever. So, y'all, the next morning comes. It's time to go home. Thank God. We go to the flight. That girl did not show up for her flight. And mind y'all, Pink was the one who bought that girl flight and paid for her share of the Airbnb. And she literally was just like woofing at the gum. She was like, I'm not giving you your money back, blah, 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 etc., etc. And at that point, like, Pink didn't even care. She was like, girl, I'm gonna get my money back, but like, don't even trip on it. Like, it is what it is. And yeah, we went home. She was not on that flight. I think she ended up staying in Atlanta for like the next 3 days, and then she finally ended up coming back home. But when we came back home, y'all, it was crazy, because literally all of us had got COVID. So it was one of those trips that probably should never happened in the first place. But the fact that it did happen, I feel like it showed Pink who her true friends were and how, you know, she needs to let that girl go. Like, I don't know what it was like, but yeah, that's why I don't play when it comes to who I invite on trips. And yeah, if you want more story times, let me know. And what would y'all would have done? Like, truly, like, if you were in the position of me in America being like those friends who are watching this whole thing happen, or if you were even Pink, if your best friend was to be showing out like that, like, what would y'all have done? Because truly, if I'm being honest, I feel like that trip should have went a whole totally different way. Like, the second that, like, the disrespect and, like, weird energy started towards Pink. But yeah, bye.
The first 2 zip lines had gone fine. Each time she came off the platform, her mom and her aunt were standing right there. 3rd zip line, both of them gone. That was already the thing. And now, the man who had been working at the top came down and told her he was going to take her to her mother. She was 16. They were in the middle of a forest in the Dominican Republic. Nothing around them but trees in every direction. There were 2 women also working the platform. She looked at him and said no. He kept coming back to it. It was okay. He was going to take her to her mom. It was fine. She kept saying no. Send one of the women down. They were right there. Either one of them could have been standing next to her in under a minute. He did not call them down. He kept insisting it needed to be him. The language is the detail that stays wrong. On the way up, when she asked about her mom and her aunt, he acted like he could not understand what she was saying. At the bottom, talking her into following him into the trees, he was speaking English with no problem. She caught both of those at the same time. He had understood her the whole time and had chosen not to respond. That is not a language barrier. That is someone managing a situation, deciding what information they give and when, based on what is working for them in the moment. She kept saying no. She said, send one of the girls down. I am not going in those woods with you. She was a thicker girl. He was bigger than her. Men are strong. The math in her head was simple. If she was wrong about him, the cost of saying no was that her mom had to come find her and the zipline trip ended early. If she was right about him, the cost of following him into those trees was something she does not finish the sentence on. When the downside of being wrong in one direction is that severe, you do not owe the other direction the benefit of the doubt. She stood on that platform with all her equipment still on, and she held her ground. Her mother is the underrated part of the whole story. She did not wait around to hear how the situation was resolving. She told staff to go find her daughter right now, and then she also came herself. She did not hand it off and trust that it would work out. She came in person, and when she arrived and got the story, the activity was over. No discussion. No, we already paid for this. No, let's finish the last few lines. They left immediately. That is the version of a parent you need when you are 16 in a foreign country in the middle of a forest. Someone who hears that her daughter cannot be found and is already moving before the sentence is finished. The argument for the man is that he might have just been trying to help. A teenager separated from her group in an unfamiliar country, a staff member doing a job he does every day, not thinking about how the situation reads from the other side. That is a real possibility, and it is worth sitting with. The argument for her reading is that the possibility does not matter when the cost of being wrong in the other direction is as high as it was in that forest. And the detail about the two women never goes away. They were standing right there. If all he wanted was to get a teenager back to her mother, that could have been done a completely different way, without any argument, without any insistence. He could have called either one of them down immediately. Instead, he kept coming back to it, needing to be him specifically. There is no clean explanation for that. He had the dumbest look on his face when her mom appeared, she says, like he could not believe the situation had not gone his way. That look landed somewhere. She still thinks about it. The Atlanta trip that went wrong at baggage claim was a different kind of problem, but worked on the same signal system. Pink and Purple were best friends from home. Purple did not go to the same school as the roommates, but had been around the group twice before, including 2 weeks before the trip was planned. When they decided to include her, it came from a reasonable place. She was Pink's person. The more the better. Let's bring her along. They all met up in the Atlanta airport, bags coming off the belt, everyone in a good mood. And then Purple went quiet, not tired from the flight, quiet. Something is wrong, quiet. Pink asked her what was up. She said nothing, in the voice that means something is clearly up. America, and the one telling this story. Exchanged a look and moved on. They were not going to start the trip doing emotional excavation at the luggage carousel. Outside, calling an Uber to the zip car location, Purple stood off to the side on her phone while the other three handled the logistics. When the zip car situation got complicated and stretched out, Purple started making comments out loud on the corner. She was irritated. She did not want to be there. This was taking too long. Not directed at anyone in particular, just loud enough that all three of them heard it. The roommate asking Pink what was wrong with her friend, and Pink saying ignore it, is a specific kind of moment on a group trip. The person who extended the invitation realizes their friend is about to be a problem and decides not to address it yet. They went to OLG, and Purple spent most of the meal on her phone. They tried to fold her into the conversation. She looked up occasionally. She was not present. At the Airbnb, she got on a call with a friend from Chicago who was asking what they were doing, why they were still inside. Purple started pitching a plan involving a rappers section and getting on stage with him. The other three were skeptical, partly because this connection had not come up when they had all discussed whether anyone knew people in Atlanta before booking the trip, and partly because that kind of night was not what any of them had come for. Purple called her friend back and out loud and within earshot of everyone told him the girls were being boring. Pink stepped in. They kept moving. But the thing about a trip where one person decides at baggage claim that she is not going to be present for whatever this is that you cannot undo that decision later in the weekend. You are carrying the awareness of it for the rest of the 3 days. There is also the thing that Pink was quietly carrying through most of this. Purple was Pink's friend, brought at Pink's invitation. When the corner outburst happened, Pink said, "Ignore her." That is not wrong exactly, but it puts the other two in the position of managing someone they did not bring and cannot really address. The navigation of a difficult friend who is not your friend is one of the more exhausting places a group trip can put you. You cannot say what you want to say. You cannot actually reach the person, and the only one who could handle it is choosing to let it go. You are left with the discomfort and no standing to do anything about it. The case for Purple is that not everyone's personality translates into a new group in a new city. She may have been anxious. She may have wanted something different and could not say it. She may have had something going on before she boarded the plane that nobody knew about. Those are all real possibilities, and they are worth holding. What is harder to fold into those possibilities is the phone call. Telling your friend back home that the group is boring out loud while sitting inside the group is not a private struggle. That is a choice made in the direction of the people you are with, not away from them. You can be uncomfortable and work it out quietly, or work it out with your friend directly. That call was something else. The birthday trip in Atlanta was running on a completely different track, and it kept compounding. The godsis went for her god sister's birthday. The birthday girl had her boyfriend there, 2 friends, and the godsis. The godsis brought her own friend who lived in Atlanta. The issue showed up at opium. She noticed, and the other friends noticed, that the birthday girl's boyfriend was flirting with the friend she had brought. He had not paid for a single bottle that night. He did not have the room. Nothing was said at the club. The conversation came out in the car on the way back. The birthday girl said it had nothing to do with the boyfriend flirting. Everyone in the car had seen him flirting. Both of those things were true at the same time. Her saying it was unrelated and it being related. That is how those arguments work. The surface version of what is being argued about is not the actual thing. And nobody is fully ready to name the actual thing yet. So the argument lives in the surface version and goes in circles. The invited friend was the surface version. The boyfriend was underneath it. The argument needed both of them to keep going. They dropped the birthday girl and the boyfriend at the house, both too drunk. The rest went to Babylon. Babylon was mostly empty. They were done drinking and did not want to pay for a full section. They wanted food. The server got increasingly impatient with a table of women who were trying to figure out what to order, And somewhere in that, a security guard decided that whatever he thought was happening in that section required pepper spray. He pepper sprayed an enclosed section with people sitting in it. He pulled the weave off one of the women who had no involvement in whatever he thought he was responding to. He gave her a black eye and a knot on her head. He ripped another girl's weave out. The owner was calm and reasonable until pressing charges came up, at which point the conversation changed tone. The food was bad. They left. The security guard is worth stopping at for a moment. A group of women in a mostly empty club, sitting in a section, trying to figure out dinner, getting pepper sprayed. Whatever he believed was happening, the response was wildly disproportionate, and the people who absorbed the physical cost of it were not the source of whatever triggered him. That does not exist in a bubble. It lands on top of everything that had already happened that night, and it feeds directly into what comes next. At the Airbnb, the birthday girl and the godsis ended up in it. They argued about the night. They argued about the friend who had been invited. The birthday girl was still drunk. She threw juice on her. The godsis went to her room and shut the door. The birthday girl told her to leave the Airbnb. She had paid a portion of it. She was not going anywhere. The boyfriend got up and kicked the door in. Not pushed it, not shoved it. Kicked it hard enough that it came off the hinges entirely. She called someone to come. The birthday girl told her boyfriend that people were on the way. He came downstairs with a gun. Part 2 of that story has not been told yet. But what exists is enough to see the architecture. The boyfriend at the club, the argument in the car, the security guard, the birthday girl drunk and not done, the boyfriend removing a door from the frame, a weapon. 6 separate choices made by multiple people in sequence across one night. Not one bad decision spiraling. 6 individual ones, each made by someone who had options, stacking on each other until the hallway looked like that. What all 3 of these have in common is the early signal arriving before the main event and being correct. The man at the platform was the signal. Purple at baggage claim was the signal. The argument in the car that was about one thing and actually about something else was the signal. In each case, the person reading the situation correctly was paying attention to something small, something that could have been explained away, and the small thing turned out to be accurate. You cannot always stop a situation once you have clocked the early signal. The zipline situation resolved before it could become worse because she said no and her mom came. The purple trip ran its 3 days and ended. The birthday trip had already built too much momentum by the time any one person could have pulled it all back. That is the thing about a trip. You find out who people are in a hurry. You're in a new place with no buffer and no familiar routine and no easy exit if the situation changes on you. The signal that might take months to register in regular life shows up in a day and a half. Purple was already someone different by the time the bags came off the belt. The boyfriend's behavior was already visible before the first bottle was empty. The man at the top of the platform had already told her everything she needed to know before he said one word. The trip does not create those things. It just puts you somewhere new so that the parts that were always there have nowhere left to hide.